Earth debate live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a Ko-Fi, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and X. Now we are joined by Wandek, Neil, Duncan, and a whole bunch of people in the politics Discord server. So welcome one and all.
Hello everyone.
Greetings.
Greetings. It's good to be here. As I said in the intro, we're in the politics Discord server today. And as we were discussing in the pre-show, that can mean a bit of a weird pacing to the live stream today. But typically there's always some good input from the people who are in the politics server. And they've got a preamble that they've had from me in the pre-show before we went live. But as I stated, the main purpose of us being in the politics server is to point out how Earth is measured flat. How everything we do in terms of our derivations of our beliefs in things like spheres comes from those measurements. How our maps have been developed. How everything is charted, built on, navigated. Obviously, flat. So, given that that's the case, and all other beliefs will be based on that, it makes sense as flat earthers to move forward on the front foot and declare that fact to anybody who's interested. As opposed to, on the back foot, reactively defending globe earth claims that they make or don't necessarily make in the positive assertion. Some flat earthers will make those claims for them. And I'm suggesting we stop doing that. Let the globe earthers make their own claims, and if and when they do, react by telling them how their claim was derived from flat earth measurements also. That's why we're here. Hopefully we'll have some fun chit-chats with some globe earth believers or flat earth detractors, anti-flat earthers, flat earth pretenders. We'll see. Anyway, fun to be here. Doesn't immediately develop into a conversation. We'll have a couple of housekeeping questions. How about that?
Sounds good.
I reckon that'll warm up the Discord server.
Yeah, it gets them going.
Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge, formerly known as Earth curve?
No, the horizon is not Earth curve. In fact, the first step in proving a globe is measuring Earth flat.
Yeah, I think it's true that the Earth curve calculator is actually demonstrating a line of sight above surface level. Doesn't actually measure any sort of curvature whatsoever. It's just demonstrating how Earth is actually measured flat.
That's correct. To reiterate what Wandex just said, in order to claim that you have an Earth curve, you need to measure Earth flat, with surface level and eye level being parallel with one another.
And, you know, that's not just something we're making up. You can look at that and it's shown in black and white.
Yeah. It's what I take them to if they say level is bending. Hey, chocolate.
Morning, guys.
We're in the politics server today. You spend much time in politics?
Not really. Not particularly. Only when I'm in here. Apparently, I always come in when we're in here. So, what's up, politics server? That means 24/7's in here too. What's up, 24/7?
They're a shy bunch today, Chocolate. You have to talk very softly.
When you say when these point out level is curving, did you say, Nathan? Then sorry.
Yeah, sometimes they're rebuttal when we point out, typically after taking their positive assertion that Earth being measured flat can be used to assert Earth is a sphere, and then we point out that Earth being measured flat is just Earth being measured flat, they'll often say, oh, well, level is curving around a ball. And then I would take them to their Earth curve mathematics and point out what you stated. Here's level. It's called surface level. You call it a tangent to your globe, with a globe dangling beneath this plane. Well, that plane's called surface level. And to derive an Earth curve below the surface level in those maths, you need to have a parallel eye level with it to derive the mathematics of the physical geometric sphere edge formerly known as Earth curve horizons. Well, they're below surface level in those maths, which is level, having no part higher or lower than the other, not comporting with the outside edge of a sphere, nothing to do with the radial value derived from flat Earth measurements in the first instance. Level, as a principle, an axiom, must be adhered to, and their rebuttal, based on a Merriam-Webster definition, does not stand, simply because they say, oh, well, level isn't actually level, doesn't mean it's true. To describe a deviation that would be described as curved needs level to describe it deviating from. So it's a nonsensical deviation from an axiomatic principle when they suggest that level is curving. It isn't. It's nonsense. Their maths requires it be level, having no part higher or lower than the other. Horizontal. Flat.
I mean, it does have a diagram in that Earth curve calculator, and the direct line of sight above surface level in the drawing doesn't appear to be curving. It seems horizontal when I look at it.
No, it is. It's part of the mathematics. It's an axiomatic principle that must be utilised and applied to the mathematics. So if you suggest that it's deviating from level, that's having no part higher or lower than the other, horizontal in nature, in this mathematics, then you're defying the very principles and foundations the mathematics are based on. And they are based on measuring Earth flat.
Wouldn't you feel some type of way if, in order to defend your paradigm, you would have to literally change the definition of the word level? Because, I mean, everybody that could fog a mirror, to quote Huey, knows that in any other conversation, level just means level. Flat, no part higher or other than any other part. That's just basic. Until you get to this particular conversation, and then all of a sudden, level is curved. Like, shouldn't that make you feel some type of way? Like you have to really go into some other reality where level is not what level is in order to defend something that's not defendable?
Yes, chocolate. I mean, I can imagine even anybody, children, adults, if you was in an exam situation of a multiple choice type, and the question was tick the box which explains level, and you had 4 choices. If one of them choices was curved, I doubt anybody would be ticking that box.
Yeah, like you would say, you'd fail second grade geometry. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? But
Yeah.
in order to make this paradigm make sense, that's what you have to do. I'd feel some type of way about that. That's crazy. I would suggest being honest with yourself and just saying, well, level does mean just level. Synonymous with flat. So,
Yeah, so your multiple choice would be something like, is it A, having no part higher or lower than the other and being parallel with the plane of the horizon, or B, curving, or C, comporting with the outside edge of a sphere? Which one is level? And you look at them and go, is level comporting to the outside edge of a sphere? It doesn't sound very level. No, I'm going to go with the other one. What's the second one? Curved. Oh, that's definitely not that, no. What's the first one? Parallel with the plane of the horizon, having no part higher or lower than the other. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, I'll go with that. No, it's curved. It means it's curved. It's definitely curved because we live on a globe, and, you know, the description of curving derived from level would be violated when I say this, but it's definitely B and C. You're like, no, it isn't.
What's that other little definition they try to use to back up their claim that level is curved? What is it comporting to what? The shape,
To the
curve.
curve of the Earth, I think it's the Merriam-Webster's
Oh,
definition.
comporting to the curve of the Earth.
That's not all
Okay.
it says. It's a contradiction.
What does it say exactly?
Well, it
I
also
don't
says
wanna
having
quote.
no part higher or lower than the other in the same definition. It just contradicts itself in the next sentence by saying it's comporting to the outside edge of a sphere.
No, but I get that. But in a way, it kind of doesn't contradict itself because if it's comporting, I don't have the exact quote, but if that's what
Conforming
it's
to the
saying,
shape of the Earth.
say it again.
Conforming to the shape of the Earth.
Oh, okay. Well, if the shape of the Earth is horizontal or level,
Level then.
level, then thanks. So your own definition wrecks you.
So wait, level is what you're saying?
Yes, in
Yeah.
essence. But it does come down to that, though, when you break down their rebuttals. Now, average Joe Normie is listening to that, wouldn't necessarily. They go, really? And you go, yeah, an anti-flat earther will come and say that. As stupid as it sounds. Go on, Apocryphon.
Oh, my bad, guys. I forgot. When I put my earbuds on, I forgot it unmutes me. Hold on.
No worries. Hey, no worries. That's Jardo for the super chat. Just a test. Okay, thank you. £2 worth of test. Thank you for the super chat.
Yeah, Chocolate, they're either changing the definition or the definition means two contradictory things at the same time. For example, up is down sometimes with globers. Sometimes the horizon is Earth curve and also simultaneously not Earth curve.
Or definitions don't mean anything by definition. You can't go with definitions of things. Come on.
The meaning of words.
Don't forget the definition of gravity.
Go on, Chocolate. You can quote Ruhif. Go ahead.
The definitions of words are meaningless.
End quote, Ruhif.
Yeah, that's a quote by Glober using words.
It's not a
Despite the
verbatim
words
quote.
you just used.
It's not a verbatim quote because there was a swear word missing, but yes, that's a quote.
Define meaningless.
Unable
Using
to have a
words?
definition.
Syntax error.
404 not found.
Someone asked me the other day out of the room, one deck. In your opinion, what is the best globe evidence that's been put forth to you? And my answer was none.
I would disagree with that.
Hell, yeah, I know what you're going to say.
Well, go on. What am I going to say?
The best globe evidence is of a flat Earth.
Well, kind of, in a way. Obviously, they've taken their globe assertions and say, look, this works. And you're like, okay, but what is actually working? Well, your derivations from flat Earth measurements transposed onto a globe surface, projected out onto a tube and rolled out back flat for you to say that it works. But it's got its origins in flat Earth measurements. So every victory that a globe Earth takes when they assert that this works only because it's on a globe, all right, okay, let's just take that at face value. You say this works only because it's on a globe. Where did the globe come from? You see where I'm going, one deck? Every one of their victories, if you take them to their origin of the globe itself, proves a flat Earth. The only reason the globe works, in inverted commas, is because it's capable of being back engineered onto the flat plane that the measurements it's based on, the globe is based on, were taken from. That's why and only why it quote unquote works. Because it's back engineerable onto the flat plane with angle measurements to the stars. That's how it has been measured. That's how the globe was developed. Another shout out to Jardo. Can a politics mod email me? James at infratech.com.au. I have not been able to get back onto this Discord for months. Very frustrating, says Jardo. Thank you for the super chat. Sorry about your frustration. It's not my server.
That has to do with politics and religion themselves. So they are requesting phone numbers, I believe, for verification to enter. But I thought I had that sorted for him last week because we did have a politics mod in here who was going to try and sort it, which was IM. So I'll message him again.
Oh, hey, Craig. Alrighty then.
So
Yeah,
how is
so
the
you
Earth
got-
measured flat?
Nah,
Well, I was just going
Craig.
to pick up. Just going to pick up on that Nathan was saying it's measured flat and mapped like that, and understandably that is how latitude is measured, and they're just elevation angles to and from Polaris, and it's just circles of equal altitude moving away as you get further away, and the Polaris appears to dip in the sky, and that's how latitude is measured for the mapping grids on all maps.
Hello, Nathan.
Hello.
Sorry, lost
That's
my
all right.
microphone again.
Nah, if you take more than 3 seconds, you're going to get people talking over you. It's all good.
Ah.
You'll get used to it.
Yeah, I noticed that yesterday or the day before, but it's fine.
Anyway, good to have you.
Cool. How's the book editing going?
Go again?
How's the editing?
Oh, book editing.
Yeah.
It's taking longer because the Flat Earth Debate panel want to put their own polish on it, which inevitably will delay things. However, it is absolutely worth doing so. Everybody wants it to be spot on and perfect. So,
What was it called again? Confessions of a Flat Earther.
nah, it's got a working title. It doesn't have an official title as yet. It's just got a working title, which has already changed once. So there's no point in me giving out the title. So yeah.
Oh, well. Cool.
Yeah, I reckon
See
with it, it'll be there probably within a month. I would say it'll be ready to churn out. And in the meantime, I've given a few insiders a heads up. So the publisher said, "Look, we've got some bits of it that are finished. So he'll tease out various bits that he's happy for me to go through as teasers on various different shows." So I've been in collusion. Is that the right word? In communication with Mark and Patricia. So Patricia's just come back on the scene, Patricia Steer. So there's a good chance I'll be doing a Strange World pre-record because they go out live about 3 a.m. my time, which isn't particularly great. And what I've suggested with her, because that'll be on maybe the 10th of next month, that I'll have ready like a teaser to go through from the book. Say, well, here's some some finished bits to give you an idea of what you'll be seeing in a couple of weeks' time when it gets released. And further to that, I've lined up a few names. Some of them are friendlies, like, well, Eddie Bravo being one of them in terms of, look, I need to get your email address, so I can send you a link so you can download it from the website. I don't know which one they'll be using, but let's say it's Amazon, so they can go in with a code and get something that isn't there, if you know what I mean, pre-release, and just download it with a code that takes off the dollar value that's on it when he can get to it, if that makes sense. So that's what we've got to do, and I've already prepped a couple of people that'll be coming soon. Although when I said it to him, I'm like, this will be next week, because I'm like, this is done, this is finished. And then the whole Flat Earth Debate panel start reading it and going, it says to here, and it should be from. This is critical. We must change this.
Hold on.
Neil, why are you opening your mic and indicating straight through the top of me?
It
What's
was
going
when
on?
QE got a hold
just
of it.
rumpus the crap out
Then
of me. Keep
everything
going.
stopped.
I would just cause audio chaos indefinitely. I hadn't finished. Open your mic, indicator going straight through the top of me. Yeah, the whole process has been slowed down somewhat, Craig, because of people wanting to put their 2 penny, a bit like Neil just did, dragging out this process. You know what I mean? So, well, I've told a couple of individuals, and it's only a couple, this will be next week. The publisher's told me this is ready to go. It's all been checked, it's spelled and errored and grammared and punctuated correctly. This is ready to go. It was quite funny, actually. Actually, I'll let Neil go because my addition to my own anecdote has been interrupted once, so I'll let Neil go. Go ahead, Neil.
When QE got a hold of it, everything was halted.
It wasn't halted. We started moving forward immediately.
No, I mean as far as the release, like this can't go out. We got a little polishing.
Yeah, that's part of the course. That's in many ways almost expected. You know, the publisher wants to get it out because he wants it churning and making money, and he's very keen, based on his current Flat Earth library that makes him decent money, to have a name on there that will sell. And he sees me as that, so he wants to get it out quickly. I can understand that. Plus, he's done an absolute ton of work in the first 4 drafts. So it's like, no, redrafts are just the way it goes. And he understood that when we were talking to him, moving forward, plodding our way through the text and changing the froms to the tos and all the rest of it. So, you know, it does delay it, but that's fine. That's part of the course. Doesn't matter.
Hey, Nathan, you should have threw a poem in there, mate.
Sorry, go ahead, bud.
I'll be all right. You'll be able to get on. Any changes on edition number 4 or 5 or 6? I mean, the interviews you're going to do, just out of interest, are they going to be just questions about the book, not debating? Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm priming. I'm priming friendlies that I know and asking people to reach out to people I don't know that might have them in their extended 6 degrees of separation, to get me into other people's networks to be able to publicize the book. That's early stages. So, you know, within this month, that's what's being eked out by various different people who are helping me do this. Big shout out. You all know who you are. Big shout out to you.
Hey, Nathan.
Yes.
Up to date with the flat Earth debate. Book title suggestion.
I don't need any. The last concern is the title. Honestly, it's got a working title. I've already released this out to a couple of people. I've leaked it, so to speak. So, for example, Russian Vids, I was like priming him to do the same thing. That is to say, I'll get you a voucher code, get you to be one of the downloadable people, because Russian Vids, as much as he's currently on a smaller channel, it's like, well, that's because his 100k channel was wiped out presumably in COVID. It's like, oh, no, your pull and influence, regardless of how big your channel currently is doesn't matter. That number's kind of irrelevant in that regard. So, I'm sure he doesn't mind me using him as an example, which is why I'm using Russian Vids, who coincidentally just did an interview with Bart Sibrel. Did anybody see that? No, not.
No.
It's all about give and take, right? When you're a flat earther interviewing someone that
was terrible.
Say again.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I watched. I just got done watching it last night. The Bart Sibrel and Russian Vids video.
Yes.
Bart, he's hard to listen to because he's right about a lot of stuff, but at the same time, he's a forever glober. He didn't even want to mention flat Earth. Like, it's funny.
Okay. Fully immersed in the heliocentric paradigm.
Whoever that is, you're very quiet. Who's that? Someone was
it's me.
Choco.
You're very quiet.
Sorry.
No, try again.
I was just saying he's fully immersed in the heliocentric paradigm. So I can understand that it is hard to listen to him, even though he is on point with so many, things. There are details he's definitely on point with, but the fact that he still believes that we're on a magical spinning water ball flying around in a vacuum, it's a problem.
You know what? I wouldn't mind covering this. We cover this next week. Not now. We're in politics today, but do you want to cover this?
Yes.
Okay. I think we should cover the Bart Sibrel Russian Vids. He's actually called RV Truth, so I should get his channel name right. Is there any chance one of my mods in the live stream can stick a link to RV Truth? And it's his interview within the last 24 hours with him and Bart Sibrel. I mean, there's a give and take that was obviously on show with Russian Vids, who's occasionally going to talk about flat Earth because he is one, and he's disclosing that, look, this man's my brother in Christ. That's why we can tolerate each other. But for every 5 references that are dropped in without any regard by Bart Sibrel about a globe, there's 1 reference dropped in by RV, and it's shut down immediately by Bart. It's just so intolerable to him to hear it even mentioned. He's like, I'm not going to be debating this. It's like, man, you've brought up globe 2 or 3 times. You know, if you want it to never get mentioned, never bring in your own bias by putting this in a globe context. Now, unfortunately for him, he can't do that. So it's like, well, if it's a bit of give and take, brother in Christ, you got to give a bit and let RV occasionally drop things into the conversation that are with reference to a flat plane, because that's his shtick. Now, he's a guest on RV's channel, so let's not mess around with what's actually happening, right? He's doing a number 4, I don't want to call it a favour, but he's being interviewed as a guest, let's put it that way. So in that regard, you can kind of accept that, no, he can, as a guest, lay down that. But me, I just went through the comments and just pointed out various different aspects of Bart Sibrel's rhetoric, like orbital motion that requires flat plane measurements and various other things. The only egregious things that he did that I thought were particularly noteworthy, the most I'll mention first, which is after shutting down any flat earth discourse and saying you wouldn't debate it, he dropped into his prayer at the end that it was irrelevant to even consider whether it's flat or a globe. In the prayer. I'm like, oh, that left a bit of a bitter taste in my mouth when he did that. Did anybody... Go on.
I can't believe that. I tell you what, it sounds like he's got a lot of heat on him.
Well, the other thing he did was to suggest that a gentleman he was using in an example should but did not appreciate the moon landings were fake, and therefore his credibility should be questionable in the description given by Bart Sibrel. So my comment at that particular timestamp, I left a comment, then put timestamps for every bit that I listened to. I listened to the whole thing and timestamped all the bits I found of note. But my note was to say, well, by that standard, myself and Russian Vids included as a flat earther would have to say, well, because Bart Sibrel can't see the obvious and observable, measurable nature of Earth and how it's been mapped and navigated, built on, surveyed flat, then should we question all of his other, some of it a bit sketchy in terms of the speculation rhetoric that he's coming out with, because that's the standard Bart's laying down. Now, frankly, there was some very interesting stuff that Bart Sibrel went through that was reasonably well researched, and it was an extremely interesting interview, full stop. So I thoroughly enjoyed listening to it, which I did also make a note of in my extensive comments with timestamp links to it. But there you go. Those were the 2 most egregious things, other than him occasionally, as a guest, with rightful, justification to do so, shutting down his host when bringing up his namesake. Oh, it's not anymore, is it? His flat Earth pet subject, which is RV Truth's, bias in that regard. So there you go. That was my take on it. Anybody else got any opinions on RV and Bart Sibrel's discussion yesterday?
I don't think he knows the first thing about the flat Earth topic anyway. He kind of reminded me of like that uncle that like thinks NASA's full of crap, but has no idea what flat Earth is. That's kind of the vibe I got from him. Like you could talk to him about stuff, and I feel like it would go right over his head.
After he left.
But I mean, I don't know.
After he left the interview, someone left a super chat for RV saying he looks like Uncle Fester. And he's like, well, maybe a little bit. It's like, you don't need to attack the guy's appearance. It's just take at face value what he says. That's it. He is who he is, and he's got credibility in terms of him exposing NASA. Yeah, you can take that into consideration if you want, but not necessarily for his other stuff that he's, speculating about. Chew the meat, spit out the bones, same with everybody. But I think he's a good sport for being in front of RV, and it's a testament to RV and his tolerance. In other words, he can bite his tongue when told by someone like Bart Sibrel, no, I don't want to talk about this. And he did it. He bit his tongue, where I probably couldn't have done. So, there's a few raised eyebrow moments for me in terms of RV and his way of treating Bart that has obviously allowed a relationship to build for that conversation to even take place, and it's not the first. So I was like, nice. For you to be in this position is a testament to RV as an individual. Wouldn't you agree? Yes, Nathan, we all agree. RV's great. I'll be subscribing. I saw the link going by and clicked on it.
Yes, I agree. Couldn't get off mute. Sorry.
Subscribe today, RV Truth. You may have seen or heard of him if you've been around for a while as Russian Vids, and he had a massive channel at one stage. Now he's not. He's smaller than this channel. Is maybe a similar size at the very maximum, because he's obviously lost a lot of subscribers over the years and had many channels. But yeah, his current channel is RV Truth, so check him out. As I say, there's a link going by in my live stream chat right now. If you are watching live, please share the show also. So 2 clicks to click on the share button, stick this show on Facebook. I'm sure we'll get into the fundy chanting from Globe Believers shortly.
Well, I was just going to ask you that. I thought when this channel first launched, it was going to be a baller takeover. That's what I heard. I could be wrong.
Yeah, that was before we toddled along about 5 months ago, though, isn't it, Neil?
I mean, if you claim you're going to turn a channel into a baller channel, you gotta come through. Where are you? It doesn't matter who shows up, unless you're scared.
I don't know, there's mostly grown adults in this server. I don't think that would work on them, Neil. Although we do have that put to us in comment sections. Flat earther stereotype that I'm using in this instance.
Well, the thing that always gets me is if I had something that I knew was true and I had evidence for it, I'd be shouting it from the rooftops.
Nah, the first thing we'll get is some character assassination against one of us, probably myself. Or a straw man fallacy about what stereotype flat earthers are supposed to claim. Or a demand for an explanation that's been done by us in the past. That's typically what we get, right? Not some nice strong globe proof. That's unlikely. Be nice if we did get a few claims like that, so we can show them how flat Earth's being measured to get to them.
Even the chat's quiet tonight. It looked like Mobius might have wanted to say something. He unmuted a couple of times while you were speaking.
Yeah, I noticed that. Did you want to say something, Mobius? Feel free. Very light going today. Or not. Isn't there a political debate going on currently? It's going to draw everyone's attention.
That was last night. Trump and Kaiser Jose.
There you go. So people are going to be discussing that today, aren't they? Well, there's a good chance that might be why it's a little bit quieter. What I mean is this
there was a...
Go ahead.
Sorry, there was a question about time zones right as you did your intro. I don't know where that individual went, but whoever was asking about time zones during the intro, go ahead and pipe up if you would like. Or not.
Alrighty then.
Well, it looks like we've got a few new faces in here. I haven't seen Salvatore before. We've got Salvatore. We've got Zanman down the bottom here. Welcome to the server, Zanvan. Van de Burrow just jumped in the room. Anyone have any questions for Nathan?
Got a $100 super chat from FE Patriot. It says, good luck with your book, Nathan. I'm looking forward to receiving my copy. Have a great weekend. Oh, thank you so much.
Wow. Excellent. Nice.
I'd normally chime up here, but I'm not hosting this. So if everyone wants to be quiet, it's down to you guys in the server. I mean, I'm not going to deny that it might be my presence keeping them all quiet.
Yeah, definitely. No one's piping up tonight.
Hey, Nathan. Yeah, I was going to talk before, but I had to do something. Well, since nobody's talking, I thought I'd talk.
Yeah, go ahead.
You hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice and clear.
So you're willing to answer questions about people, Globers, right? I'm assuming.
Whatever you've got, I'm fine to answer
Okay.
almost
No, I
anything.
also have right, and I also have just some questions about the a question at least about the flat Earth model. So in the flat Earth model, the in terms of if it's daylight in Japan, let's say, and let's say obviously it would have to be nighttime in the U.S., right? So like from what I understand of the model, there's like it's supposed to be like some sort of a lamp the sun is or whatever.
What's your name?
And
sorry, what's your name?
Mobius.
Your light's not flashing for some reason. Weird. Okay, sorry. Carry on.
Well, you can hear me well, right?
Yeah, you sound great. It's just I can't see your name flashing. It's all right. It's not a big deal.
I'm Stewie. Stewie, yeah, Stewie Griffin. Yeah. So yeah, but you would have to like if it is daylight in China and Japan area, right? And like how would that work where there's no long distance light you'd see from the U.S. Like you'd see that light there, the daylight, right? So is it because it's facing away or the lamp or whatever is facing away from the States? Like how does that work?
I don't know what you're talking about. Lamp? What?
Oh, okay. If it is daylight in Japan and China, right? When it's nighttime in the U.S., right?
You're making this claim, not me.
But all the time I've spoken to people in like Japan, for example, okay, or people in that time zone where it's daylight and it's night over here in Canada. I'm in Canada, and it's daylight over there. It's night over here.
Okay.
So it wouldn't be a light. Like if it's far away, if it's in a flat model, it's far away, Japan and China or whatever. And so the daylight, the sun over there, whatever light that is, I'd be able to see from the U.S., even though it would be faint or fainter than they see it, but I'd be able to see that.
Why?
Because they have the light over there, the sun or whatever, that light that they see is...
Just so I'm clear, you're suggesting that where it's dark, you should still see the... Why would you suggest that when it's dark, you should still see the sun? That doesn't make much sense to me. Why would you claim this?
No, it's because in a flat model, okay, then the sun should be able to be seen by me, like somewhere, like far away. It's not that far away. It's like maybe 20,000 kilometers or whatever, right? So, so that light I should be able to see from.
So this is your claim as a flat earther, then? How would you defend this claim? Why should you see it?
I'm just saying. Why should I see it? Well, it's because if it's flat, like on a globe model, it won't be flat. Obviously, it'd be on the other side of the globe. But on a flat model, it's exactly flat. So I should be able to see that light.
It's not what I'm asking. I'm not asking you to put it into a false dichotomy. I'm saying, why would you suggest that when it's dark, you should see the sun? That's a silly claim as far as I can tell.
Oh, I mean, when it's dark in North America, I should be able to see that sun long distance.
Yeah,
because
that sounds silly
long
to me.
Distance.
Okay, I heard the first 3 times, Mobius. Right, it sounds like a silly claim you're making.
Okay, imagine a flat, just the Earth being flat. Okay, and Japan, okay, would be far away, like horizontally far away, right? Not around in the globe, but horizontally far away. So, and if there's a light over there,
Sorry,
I should be able to see that light.
Mobius, this is the 4th time you've repeated this.
How does that not make sense?
Because it's dark where you are in one place. That means the sun's not illuminating that part of the world. And in a different part of the world, it is. And you're suggesting that in the dark part, you should see the sun. That's silly. Why would you suggest such a thing?
Because if it's flat, you should be able to see that light because it's only 20,000 kilometers away.
Why?
At least a little bit of that light.
Oh, there it is. sorry, you've measured this distance, have you? 20,000 kilometers, you say? How have you got this distance?
So I would
I'm
assume
just asking you a question
if
about
a
your claim.
plane, I know
My
how
bad.
long it takes a
Just
plane to
asking you a
get
question
there.
about your claim. How have you got that distance to the sun?
The distance to Japan is that distance, around that distance.
Yeah, and we're talking about the sun, aren't we? Whether or not you should see it.
Yes, because the sun is right on top, like above their heads.
How do you know
In
that?
Japan.
Yeah, its GP is above.
Because they tell me.
Yeah, we know where
I
it's
mean,
GP. Yeah, we
like,
know where it's.
I've never
Okay,
been to
I've got to be
Japan.
able
I
to
know
respond
Japan
to
has a
you.
sun.
I've heard it 4 times. I don't need it ranting through the top of me trying to respond to you. Thank you.
Oh my God. Okay, go ahead.
I don't need your permission. I
if
just
you
need
were
you
to
to
think,
stop talking when I talk. Thank you. Yeah, we know where its GP is. Okay, so you're saying when its GP is above Japan, that is to say that at a particular location on the ground, you've got a ground position. That's where the sun is above. Yeah, okay. And it's not above the other bit that isn't lit at that time. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's how it is.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean anything. You're saying if it's flat, I wouldn't tie myself with this as a flat earther. I mean, you can. It sounds silly to me to say where it's dark, I should see the sun. That's what you're saying. And I say it's silly to say that.
So I shouldn't be able to see.
What's the flat Earth model again? Remind us.
Oh,
Well,
I don't
the
care.
fact that it's
his,
flat.
If he's got
No.
hold on. Sorry, Chocolate. I don't care what his flat Earth model is. It's not mine. He, as a flat earther, wants to claim we should see the sun where it's dark. That's his bad. I'm not. He's not going to stereotype that as a flat Earth claim. It's his claim. I don't make that claim. It's not a flat Earth claim. He's saying we should see the sun places where it's dark, and I'm saying that's stupid. Anyway, shout out to Jason Dean. Please watch movie trailer for Fly Me to the Moon. Thank you for the super chat.
so I have a question for you, Mobius. You've
Go ahead.
asserted that if we were on a horizontal plane, that we should be able to see this sun from everywhere. So you obviously have an assumption of what you think the flat Earth is, how the sun works, the distance to the sun, etc. Is there any reason that you could think that you wouldn't see the sun over that surface?
Well,
can you think of it from another point of view? Rather, can you think of it a bit critically? You've got your reasons and your beliefs why you would think that, but is there reasons you could come up with as to why that wouldn't occur and you wouldn't see that in that instance?
Yes, I do. Yes, and thanks for asking. I thought that Nathan would kind of either suggest, his kind of reasoning, or at least ask me like you did. But that's fine. I'll tell you. Okay, so according to me, there could be a certain type of flat Earth model where it's still horizontal, but the light, if it's a lamp type thing, and it would be facing a direction where I would not be able to see it from North America because it's facing away from me. So, for example,
so you're talking about a spotlight type setup.
Yeah, a spotlight, exactly. And so, for example, in the model of the flatness, where like there's a flat circle, and then in the middle is the North Pole, and that type of model, there's actually a name for it. I forgot, but
yeah, it's called the azimuthal equidistant projection. Do you know how that model's made?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, do you know how that model's made?
Right.
Well, stop a second. That's a globe projection for a start. Did you realise that?
Yeah, it's
Okay, let's just stop. Did you realise or not? It's a closed question.
No, I don't, like when you say it's a globe projection. What do you mean it's a globe projection?
What I say? Do you know the origin?
Well, I just want to finish.
Okay, look, you're asking us about positional data on maps that you say are our model, right? Because this is a straw man fallacy. I mean, I've tried to lead you into the point that this is your claim. You want it to be my claim, though, don't you? You're telling me what flat Earth does as a non-flat earther, ergo straw man fallacy. Something that you say should happen on a flat Earth. Something you say is our argument that you say you can undo, and are inviting me to offer my take on your straw man fallacy. That's what this is, a straw man. You say this doesn't work on a flat Earth because the light. I was interrupted, and I'm still talking. And excuse me, me ripping your stupid argument to pieces doesn't require you to talk over me. I didn't do it to you. Stop talking. called a straw man fallacy. You say we should see the lamp over there on this globe projection. Why? You didn't give me a reason. Yeah? But you say we say that should happen on our model that you are representing for us on our behalf as a straw man. It's a straw man. Don't claim this. Nobody here claims this. Nobody here suggests that the sun should be seen where it's dark. It's absurd. You've invented this as a straw man fallacy. That's what's happening. I'll just make it clear for my audience what's happening. He's used a straw man that he says we should be claiming and what shouldn't happen based on his assertion of our model we don't claim, aka a straw man fallacy. Are we done? Was there anything else, Mobius?
Okay,
that's kinda where
first
I'm
of all, I
going
was
with
answering the other person's question. I was answering the other person's question as to how you would not see the sun, okay, from North America when it's dark. That's what he was, and then you come in to say, okay, I was still claiming
You don't need to. It's
that
dark.
I could see
Sorry,
the sun.
this is
No, I was
non-sequitur. Who
providing a
cares?
model.
Yeah, who cares? We need to explain
What do you
why
mean,
we
who
don't
cares?
see the sun when it's dark. We don't need to do this. It's not proving anything.
The only way is if the lamp is facing away.
What lamp?
Okay,
What lamp?
Isn't there some sort of a lamp or something?
Excuse me, isn't this part of your straw man? Isn't there a lamp that you guys should be claiming? Isn't this your straw man? Sorry, are you going to now tell me? Shut up. Stop talking. Stop
Where does that
talking. Sorry. Yes, that's a pretty concise summary of a straw man fallacy. You about to tell me how my lamp should work? No, mate, it's your idea of an argument you're about to burn because you say we say it. That's called a straw man fallacy. Do you understand what you're doing when you tell me about a lamp on my model I don't claim? No, this is your invention, your claim. You say the sun is a lamp. I don't say this. It's called a straw man fallacy because any minute you're going to burn how that lamp you say we claim wouldn't function that way. That's burning the straw man? Yeah, we know how this fallacy works. This is tedious. I don't need you to yammer through my victory as I point out the flaws in your argument. What I'm doing is voiding your argument, Mobius. That's what I'm doing. You yammer through the top of the absolute annihilation and demolition of your fallacy that you put to me. That's what I'm doing. I don't need any commentary while I'm doing it. Yeah? I'm taking a position of superiority, declaring to a live audience how you, this man, has used a fallacy, a straw man fallacy, where he's going to burn that which we don't claim, like a lamp. Who's claiming this? He is. It's stupid nonsense. So are we done with your fallacy? We are. That means anything else?
Okay, if it's not a lamp, what is the light source?
Did I make a claim about it?
Well, can you tell me? Because
why?
It's your model.
Why? Well, my model, I haven't claimed the straw man. You still need to burn this straw man, right? So give me what I need on my straw man is your reply.
Nathan, you're like...
Is this going to be
Can I clarify something here for you, Mobius? Let me clarify something, yeah? Okay, so every example you've given so far, what you're doing is you're claiming that we've presented some sort of map, but really we haven't. You've got some type of map or layout that you have in your own head that you're presenting as ours, yeah? And when you ask for ours, it's not something that we
He doesn't need you to
verify,
interrupt him. He doesn't. When you're being annihilated and pointed out the flaws in your logic and the moderator stepped in, you don't need to yammer through him as well. He's pointing out where you've lost. Now, you can be a man, suck it up and listen to him explain that to you. Or like now, like a coward, you can chant through him and me, pointing out the flaws in your logic. Now, AJ's going to try again. Shut up. Let the moderator of this server tell you where you went wrong. Just have to suck it up and go on mute. Go ahead, AJ.
Yeah, so what you're presenting is your belief of what you believe the flat earth is, not what we state it is or believe it is, yeah? So you have your own model that you're presenting as ours and then saying, well, you know, we must have this spotlight that's moving across the and then you present the map, yeah? You presented, what was it, the azimuthal equidistant map that was a globe model map. So each time you're not presenting or representing flat earth, you're representing what you're arguing against yourself, really. You're representing what you believe it to be, and then you're presenting that as ours, which is a straw man, yeah? So like Nathan pointed out, the map that you presented is a globe projection, and they utilize it that way for ease. So it's got nothing to do with the flat Earth, yeah? We haven't got a model to present you because we don't have something that we can verify. When you're asking us what the sun is it a spotlight? Is it something that you can verify? It's not something that I can verify, yeah? So when I asked you that question,
I had was what model are you talking about? Where did you get this model?
Okay, well,
like you're essentially
I think
arguing
what
with yourself.
AJ's response has been completely logical, the way he was talking and everything. Not yourself, Nathan, no offense, but I'm just saying that I can respond to AJ because I think what he's the way he's talking is exactly, you know, he's talking in a logical way. So I'll respond to him. Okay.
Well, you can in a second.
First of
Just
all,
wait,
I did
wait one
assume.
second. Just wait 1 second. Got to do a couple of shout outs. I am in need of money. Thank you very much to those of you who messaged. It's going to take a couple of seconds to shout you out, so I'll scroll back through them and be as quick as I can so I don't disturb the flow. Jason Dean, thank you very much. Oh no, I've already shouted that one out. Please fly me to the moon trailer one. Yeah, I've already done that, sorry. Shout out to Steampunk Punk, who says, my fly me to the moon and beg my question, happy Friday. Thank you for the super chat. Also, Slick James Bronson, who says, did anyone see the lamp prize this morning? Thank you for the super chat. Sorry about that.
So when I was asking you that question, I was looking for some type of logical thought process here. So if you want to go and have a quick look in the chat at 46 minutes past the hour and have a quick read, it might give you another perspective maybe before you argue what you believe flat Earth to be, and it may give you an answer to your question.
Okay, so I assumed two things, okay, and this is based on talking to other people, maybe not people in this room believe this or whatever. That's the reason I invoked it, okay? So basically, it's that model where the North Pole's in the center, that model, okay? And so I assume that, which I shouldn't in circumstance, because, you know, obviously that's not the correct in some sense, it's just a projection, that's fine. And also I assume that the sun was considered to be a lamp by flat earthers. Of course, that's a assumption. There could be other models of the light source or whatever, okay? Only, I was saying that if it was a lamp, okay, let's just say, if it was a lamp and if it was a model of the map of the Earth was the one where the North Pole's in the center,
sorry, you could be. Sorry, just to be clear.
Yeah, that's what I'm claiming.
You are claiming
right, that I'm claiming.
Sorry, how would you prove Earth's a lamp? Yes. How would you prove that, you being the one making this?
No, I'm saying in that situation.
Stop! I heard you. Stop! Stop! I heard your first claim.
Can you let me finish my point?
Moderators, can you stop him? I've heard his first claim. It's the same crap we've heard already. If Earth has a lamp for a sun. Now, I'm stopping you because that's a claim. Doesn't matter that you put an if statement in front of it. You're now claiming this. So what have you got to back that total garbage you are claiming, you fool? Why would you claim such nonsense? How are you going to back this nonsense you are claiming, foolish man who thinks sun is lamp? Back it now. Go.
Okay, okay, yeah, so, I mean, I was saying, I just want to finish my point there. If that was the case, okay, then
moderators,
I could see a
he seems to be completely
where...
ignoring me. I've heard his claim 7 times about a lamp sun. Now he's making it as a claim. I want him to back that claim, not just plod on with his example that uses a lamp sun in his claim that he's assuming and hasn't justified. He's going to back that garbage. We're going to stop at the first claim you made. Sun lamp, the very first thing I said. My first response to you, literally, the very first thing I said, lamp? What the hell? Now you're making it. It was always you making this claim, by the way, just to make that absolutely clear. You're going to back that garbage, not carry on with your example we've already heard. Back it. It's your claim now. We're not going anywhere else. You need to back that first. The premise you're basing this on, back it. It's your claim now.
So yeah, so that claim I think could work or can't work. So, but if it's not,
Morgus, I got to stop you right there, dude. It's not that it could or it can't. if you're putting forward some type of model, you need to present some type of evidence. Yeah, we're not just going to speculate. It's not philosophy. We're not going to have discussions about what it could and couldn't be. We're here to see some type of empirical evidence.
Yes. So for the 8th time, do you want to back your nonsense about the sun being a lamp? Sorry, rather than yammering through me, it's just the same question that you failed to answer 8 times. So I'd rather just hear it unimpeded without you talking through it, so you don't think you have to answer it. Can you, rather than speculate saying, well, it could or it couldn't, can you actually back this garbage you are claiming or not? Closed question.
Okay, so apparently a lot of people don't like the lamp theory. Okay, so
no, it's you. It's not people and what they think about it. I've asked you, the claimant, to back it. It's not whether or not I like it. Who cares? You've claimed it, and the question on the table is: stop talking as you dodge and dive, you weasel. No, weasel. You just need to affirm in the positive or negative whether or not you can back your sun lamp claim, because it's yours now. Whether or not people agree with it is irrelevant. Your appeal to consensus is not going to be tolerated as an answer to a closed question. Can you back your garbage about the sun being a lamp, yes or no?
The lamp was just something I thought that you guys believed in, but it's not apparently. So what?
Why are you still babbling about it? No. You told me a minute ago you lied.
What is the light source?
Stop, you're lying. A moment, we dealt with that 5 minutes ago, then it became your claim and you made it clear it was your claim now. So you're now going to lie about what we've covered 5 minutes ago. I don't want to talk to this guy, he's become disingenuous. I'll give him one more opportunity to respond. We covered that 5 minutes ago. The consensus appeal's not going to work for a second time either. You made this claim, and I asked you if it was your claim, you said yes. Now don't appeal to anybody else. Can you, 9th time, back your garbage that the sun is a lamp? Yes or no?
I don't think the sun is a lamp.
Why the bloody hell are you saying it then? Oh, so it's only the straw man that you must burn.
Okay, what is the light source? Please tell me.
Why are you asking me? Did I make a bleeding claim about it? No, you want to burn a straw man claim about it, and you need to introduce it by making it my claim and asking me about it. I didn't make a claim about it. This is your garbage you want to burn. Not mine. I don't need to answer any questions on it. I haven't claimed it. Why are you asking me? You want to ask me something? Ask me something based on something I've actually said and claimed.
So do you have any idea what the light source
claiming the lamp, that's your claim. That's why I'm asking you questions about your claim. Don't tell me about what I need to suggest the sun is, because I don't care. I'm not claiming anything about it. So, can we conclude? This Glober had nothing more than a false dichotomy straw man to burn, where he tells me what my model is, and then chants through the conclusion. The victory dance won't be heard by the intolerant Glober. He's going to chant through the conclusion. That would be to say that the globe-believing Muppet offered us a false dichotomy. That would be what he says flat Earth is versus what he says a globe is. Both will be derived from flat Earth measurements, but he's going to tell me what I say the sun should be, so he can burn what he says it shouldn't be doing based on what he says I say it will be doing. No, it's a straw man. We've done this for enough time now for me to shut this down with a conclusion without the fundamentalist zealot who needed to burn a straw man false dichotomy yammering through the top of my victory dance. You lose. Your logic was flawed. It was a straw man fallacy. Flawed logic won't stand. Your non-stop attempts to get me to insert my version of my claim you were trying to burn won't work either. Asking me what I say the sun does in this instance isn't going to work. I don't make a claim about it in this regard. If I've made a claim about it, you can focus on that. I haven't.
Hey, can I just add real quick? You're back there saying, "Oh, Nathan doesn't know how to argue." Dude, you started off with a fallacy, right? That's why when I chimed in, my question was, what model are you talking about? Because you came in and started talking about how the sun is a lamp. Did you bother to find out? Does anybody that you're speaking to think the sun is a lamp? I've been in this 10 years. I've never heard the sun referred to as a lamp. So I'm not sure where you're getting that from.
I've heard it many times, but I guess it was wrong.
Yeah, I guess you were. Yeah, but you've still done it. This is now going to be the
Great,
10th time you've
so-
told us that. We don't care. We know you're wrong. We know you've burnt a straw man. We've pointed out your fallacy. You're still trying to justify it by telling us what you have heard other people say. Yeah, that's called a stereotyping.
just ask
Stop!
one question?
Stop! This is another fallacy you're using, and you're yammering through me pointing out your stereotype. The second time he's yammered through it. AJ, there's no communicating with this man. He's just used a stereotyping fallacy. Other people say is a stereotyping fallacy. You utter buffoon. You globe-believing zealot numpty who's got nothing but fallacy. Literally, the thing you're interrupting me pointing out to you is to use a fallacy again. Well, I thought, 10th attempt, that because other people said it, I could come here and use it on you. That's a stereotype fallacy. Buffoon, are you listening? Idiot, Mobius, do you hear me?
Theory.
What other people say? Do you understand that that's a stereotyping fallacy?
Mobius, I've got him on mute at the moment, but Mobius, you didn't listen in the first instance. You keep asking, is there a way that we wouldn't see the sun? Yeah, you'd like some sort of explanation. I actually told you about 10 minutes ago, I dropped something in the chat that you might be able to have a little read of that may be able to give you some type of logical explanation, but you continue to argue about a lamp.
I said I'm sorry about mentioning the lamp. I should not have done that. I've said it so many times. I just want to hear one theory as to what the light source probably is, and if you drop it in the chat, that's fine.
You want to know a bit about
Okay, so how about this, Morbius? I got a better idea here.
Okay, I got that.
I got a thing.
I got it. He wants to know. He wants me to make some positive claims about the sun, right?
Correct.
About what the light source may be, yes.
Right, what the lights? I have no idea what it is. I just know what we do with it.
Okay.
We measure Earth flat with it.
Sorry?
We measure Earth flat with it. It being the sun.
Sun, that it's obviously not like the big ball of fire. I know flat earthers don't believe that.
So what part of I don't know what
mountain.
it is didn't you understand? Did you not want to acknowledge what I said? I don't know what it is. Neither do you. You think it's a lamp because you're a stupid moron who thinks the sun is a lamp and then can't justify
I never thought it was a lamp.
Yeah,
I said I
did.
thought you guys thought it was a lamp.
Explicitly said that. Yeah, you did.
I said I thought you
explicitly
did.
state that, and now you're going to chant through me pointing out your lie. I didn't say it. Nobody here said it at all. The only person to say it was you. But now you're telling me I didn't say that because when I said it, I was strawmanning you as saying it. No, you're the only one to say it, mate. But now you're lying about that, making you a shyster, charlatan liar. You're the only one to have said that, mate. Do you want to take back your lie that you didn't say it when you're the only one to have said it? Stupid moron that thinks the sun's a lamp. You're the only one to have said that, mate.
I didn't think the sun was a lamp. Okay, I'm going to stop.
You're the only one. Okay. Second time's a charm. You're the only one to have said it.
Well, I mean, Nathan, do you have any theories as to what?
So he's not going to acknowledge it. He's a weasel. He's a weasel. He's lied, and now he can't acknowledge his own smegging lie. You just said, quote, I have never said that. Yeah, and I respond, you're the only one to say that. I'd like you to acknowledge your scumbaggery. You're becoming a liar and intolerable as a person to talk to. Don't deny the words that are only up for discussion because you are the only one to have said them. And then when we point out what you have said, you deny the very words that have crossed your own bloody lips. It's disgraceful behaviour. Now, before I carry on with you, I want you to acknowledge your lie that you didn't claim the sun was a lamp when you are quite literally the only person to have said that here. Do you want to just acknowledge your lie that you didn't say that? You did. So just get that absolutely clear, what you claimed. We know you wanted it to be our claim when you said it. It doesn't change that you're the only one to have said it. You, with your stupidity about the sun being a lamp, you said that, not us. Let's get that clear. You lied about that. We're going to clear that up.
Yeah, Morbius, when you first came in, your first claim was the sun being a lamp and asking us how to explain us seeing the sun the way we do. The claim was a lamp. I then asked you to think logically and maybe think of another reason why we wouldn't be seeing the sun, and you came back to the lamp claim, then stating that that's what you believe flat earthers say. So your original claim was, when you came in, if the sun's a lamp, you did put it forward first.
I never said that. I did not say the sun was a lamp. I did say that.
Yeah,
100% I said that.
Yeah,
okay?
we're well aware of that.
Okay, that's
yeah,
fine.
and then you told us you didn't say it.
I never
yeah,
said
then
that.
you said you didn't say it.
I never said
I've never said the sun was a lamp. That was a lie. End quote. You.
All right. So move this on, Morbius.
You realize now
You
how
said
that
you
sounds,
said it.
right?
Agreed.
Right. You realize how that sounds.
Hey, let's forget the lamp thing. It's really getting in the way.
No, we stop. Everyone stop. Chocolate and AJ, stop. No, we're not going to forget the lamp thing. Because when people come in and start telling us what we claim and trying to burn straw men and using fallacies and stereotyping us, we don't just forget that. What we do is we point out the scumbaggery and fallacy use of our opponents, in this case you. It's scummy. We also won't forget that you lie about that which you are the only person who have come here and put forth as a claim. The sun being a lamp, you're the only one to have said that. You've denied that. And then gone on to deny denying it. Now, as far as I'm concerned, this is the flat earth debate. Scumbaggery and lies on the globe side, us pointing out our earth's measured flat. That's how it goes here. Yeah?
Can we just, okay, I'm not even going to say the word lamp anymore, okay? So now I just want to see, okay, Nathan, do you have a theory in your mind as to what the light source may be?
I have told you 3 separate times that what the sun is, I do not know, and pointed out that neither do you. Then I pointed out that you had suggested it was a lamp after saying I don't know. I also added last time, because you haven't acknowledged it, fairly standard fare when we deal with people like you, globe believers, that they don't acknowledge a single word I say. I said we measure Earth flat with the sun. That hasn't been acknowledged either.
Yeah, the only thing you said with regard to your belief in the or your
I didn't express any belief. I didn't express any belief. Don't tell me I've expressed a belief. Stop. I did not express any belief. Let's get that clear.
Yeah, sorry, I did not mean to say the word belief. That was an accident. Okay. I mean, when you were talking about that light source, you said something about it measures the Earth being flat. Okay, that's fine, right? But is there anybody else that does have a theory as to what?
Stop. Yeah, we measure Earth flat with the sun. That's fine. Welcome to flat Earth. You want to talk to somebody else? Nah, this is my time running a live show. So I'll pretty much dictate what gets talked about here while I'm here. That's how it goes. No, you won't be talking to anybody else to save your dumb ass that thinks the sun is a lamp.
And just so you're aware, no one in this room is going to speculate on what something may be. Yeah, you're not going to get an answer for a speculation.
Meanwhile, fine that we measure Earth flat with the sun. Welcome to flat Earth. That's the conclusion. What we actually do with the sun, you can speculate about what it does being a lamp and stupid nonsense like that. We deal with how Earth is actually measured with respect to ground positions. The point above, where the sun would be above, on the ground, that's what we measure with the sun. We derive all sorts of systems like time with it. So those will be what I lean on, the measurements of Earth as a flat plane when utilising the sun and its elevation angles with respect to that flat Earth we're measuring. That's what I'll lean on. You will strawman us telling us what our models are. No. I lean on Earth measurements when I prove Earth's flat. You lean on strawman false dichotomies and stereotyping fallacies. That's what your standard is. Crap standard.
I wasn't trying to use that light source as a measurement to see if the Earth was flat or curved or whatever. I was just
I did that. No, I did that. I used that light source. No, stop. You told me what you didn't do using the example I gave. Yeah, we know you didn't do that.
Why do you
just to reiterate, I don't need you to tell me that you didn't do what I did. I know you didn't use the light source and the elevation angles to it that is used for mapping. You didn't do that. I did that. I proved Earth is measured flat with the sun. You used false dichotomies and strawman fallacies. That's what you did. I don't need to know what you didn't do, followed by a repetition of what I did do. No, I know you didn't do that. Thank you for summarising what you didn't do as what I did. That isn't necessary, though. I did prove Earth is measured flat. you didn't do that isn't necessarily in addition to this conversation. Hope that's clear. That's why I interrupted you. Anything else? No? Shout out to Roger Ledwell for the right angle triangle. Thank you for the super chat.
Doesn't that spark your interest when you hear something like that?
No. What it sparked in him was to tell me that he hadn't just explained that Earth was measured flat with the sun. That's what his response was. No, you didn't, did you? Yeah, I did. Shout out to Unitox Femi, who says sun has nothing to do with surface of Earth. It does when we measure elevation angles with respect to a plane surface, Unitox Femi. We map with it. Its ground position. That would be to say where the sun is above, directly above on the ground. That's useful positional data that we do use. It is absolutely with respect to the ground, its ground position, where the sun is above at a given time, or anything else in the sky for that matter. Ground positions. Measuring Earth flat. Anything else, Mobius?
Mobius has left.
Of course. At the point that he needed to yammer through every single conclusion, he was presumably being put on mute, so he couldn't do that. Am I right?
Yeah, and look, the issue is that he's not thinking logically. He's not accepting, the sun is used to measure Earth as flat, as you made your claim. They want a replacement for everything. Okay, if the Earth's flat, what's the sun made of? And regardless, whatever the sun's made of, has nothing to do with the surface of the Earth, as per your super chatter.
Oh, is that what you insisted me meant?
He
Yes,
have
I
a
see
problem
now.
with that.
Sorry, Chocolate, go ahead.
I was going to say, apparently he didn't have a problem with that. If you told him the sun is used to measure Earth flat, it was basically, the sun is used to measure Earth flat. Okay, that's good. Anybody else want to talk? Hey, what? Really?
That's why I said, didn't it spark your interest where you want to know more?
And then 2 minutes later he leaves. Very interesting reaction to the sun and its lampiness. What the hell, man?
Well, we've already had an hour of live streaming. Would you believe it? Time flies when you're having fun, does it not? Hour and 15 we've had, nearly.
Did you say time, Nathan?
One more time, one deck.
I'm saying, did you say time?
Time with respect to the sun and its flat Earth measurement. Yes, I did.
That's what I was referring to, yeah. Good job.
Earth not measured flat.
Go ahead, whoever that was.
We know that voice.
Yeah, Rob. Rob, what do you mean it's not flat? What does that mean?
It's not measured flat.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, this guy harasses me via Facebook Messenger, sending me obnoxious and crude messages. Can we remove him from the conversation, please? Somebody who
I don't know why he's allowed back in here.
I'd rather not have my stalkers talking to me, preferably. People who are abusive towards me on messaging services. Just get rid of them. That's okay.
Oh, wow. One of them cornballs.
Yeah.
Wow, buddy.
It's funny how these globe-believing Muppets come in and don't explain how it's measured curves. They just say it's not measured flat and then have nothing else after that.
Right. And we're supposed to just say, oh, well, thanks for that. Have a good day.
Hey, guys, I just joined. Can I ask a few questions to the pancake believers?
That's called a poisoning the well and ad hominem fallacy. So do you know what a poisoning the well fallacy is? I just started asking if you could ask a question. You've opened with the poison.
Maybe address the person you're talking to. That would be proper, right?
What's your name?
Yeah, I am aware. I know what both of those things are. I don't think they hold true here because an ad hom usually is used as a rhetoric, a weapon on an opponent, right, to weaken their position and attack their character instead of attacking the argument, which it didn't really do here, right? I was talking in plural. And secondly, you said poisoning the well. To that, I would say maybe I would concede if you think that being a pancake believer is a bad thing. But if you are a pancake believer, I mean, you really shouldn't see it as
so you're going to poison the well again. So you're going to poison the well again with an if statement? You've not started well. So the fallacy I've pointed out that you've said potentially you'd concede to, you've repeated. So it's a poisoning the well fallacy. It's not an if. It is.
Again, it's relative, depending on your
Not relative,
position.
it is. So another scumbag,
why I
before
said I
he's
would
even
maybe
asked his
concede to it.
question, yeah, he's poisoned the well. I've pointed it out. He won't accept it. It's a fact. You poisoned the well. That's a fact. Don't have to accept it. I don't care. It just makes you scummy, like all globe believers, no doubt. That's a stereotyping fallacy, by the way.
I won't ask my questions then. Have fun.
Well, you could just accept that you used a poison in the well fallacy, and then I'd accept your question. But you won't, will you? Nope.
Well, I mean, my answer remains the same. It's not like my mind has been changed in the
Well, it's
last
relative.
30 seconds.
It's
I think
relative.
It's relative. Yeah.
It's,
I mean,
it's
I
a
would
relative
concede- I
amount
would
of
concede to
poison.
it if you-
Relative
for
was your
me-
answer. I'm responding.
Yeah.
Your answer was it was relative. What, a relative amount of poisoning of the well? So that's a weasel.
Yeah, it's kinda
word.
like if people
I'm
say
still
it's
talking.
alcohol
It seems that we're not going to have a reasonable conversation because my replies have got you talking straight through the middle of them, even in concession of the very first thing you said, which hasn't come yet. But we have got quite a lot of you talking through me, pointing out this poisoning the well fallacy that's relative. Good start, by the way. Good start. Solid, strong.
I'm glad you're done. Oh, no, never mind.
Nathan.
Right. So again, relative, right?
No, it's not relative.
Hey, now you're
it's just a point. No, you're not going to chant that through the top of me. No, it won't be accepted. Eventually, I'll appeal to the mods to shut you down. It is not your rebuttal. I've overcome that. Rinsing and repeating your rebuttal, yeah, to your first and complete and total failure with the first thing you said, won't be accepted. It's not relative. It is just a poisoning the well fallacy. This level of scumbaggery where you can't accept the very first fallacy you've used, I mean, maybe you could concede to that, right? Yeah, that's as close as you've got so far. No, you will. Or you'll be removed eventually. Because me, with righteous indignation, will talk down to fallacy users like you and point out that, no, they can't even concede their own use of fallacy. They need to plough on and reassert it as being relative after it's been refuted. No, it's definitely a poisoning the well fallacy. There's no ambiguity here. There's no doubt in anybody who's watching's mind how scummy you are when you can't concede that fact either. We could move on with you reasserting its relative, but I won't allow it. I'll just keep rubbing this right in your face. Are you going to concede it so you can ask your question? No, you're going to spend 10 minutes on this?
Great.
Concede it, or are we going to spend 10 minutes on this?
Can I ask him a question? Yeah, bro.
I mean, my answer remains the same. So yeah, I mean, it's a part conceit. It's relative. If you see it as a bad, sort of like strawman of your argument, and you take it as a literal pancake, I can see how that is interpreted as a
so he's going to do the same
well
thing,
fallacy.
mods. So he's not conceding. He's going to use the same poisoning of the well fallacy for a fourth time. Rather than conceding, he's going to reiterate his fallacy. Like, that's going to get you the win. No, it's the same fallacy that you've used. You think rinsing and repeating the same fallacy that's been overcome 3 times already isn't going to change the fact that I'm going to use exactly the same rebuttal? No, it's just a poisoning the well fallacy. You suggesting that I believe in a pancake by way of asserting that you want to ask a question to the pancake believers is just simply a poisoning the well fallacy that you've committed. I mean, it'd be nice if you could, grow some balls, admit to your mistakes, admit to your fallacy use, but according to you, with your weasel words, it's all relative. Yeah, relative's one of those words that weasels use when they're proven to be demonstrably utilising fallacy. That's you. You could repeat it for a 5th time. Go ahead. Tell me it's relative. The audience is definitely on your side, by the way. 112 people are all right behind you. That's called sarcasm.
Cool. So I'm not going to repeat myself. I think that's kind of like redundant, right?
Well, then get rid of him.
But
get rid of him. He's not going to be a reasonable person to talk to because he can't even concede that he used a fallacy when he absolutely, without question, there's no doubt in anybody's mind, did. He thinks his satisfactory answer is to say it's relative. He's not going to be a reasonable person to talk to. So no, I don't want to answer your question.
Wait,
good job we covered this, because now you're going to yammer through me pointing out that no, I'm in control of this. Get lost. You're not going to be reasonable to talk to. You're not going to listen to my answers. You're not going to concede points when you're demonstrably wrong. You're going to yammer a repetition of the original point that's been refuted, aren't you? Because that's what you've done, with your opener being your loss when you use fallacious reasoning and had the flaw in your logic pointed out by me and then met with the rinse and repeat 5 times methodology. Yeah, bye-bye.
They're in pain, Nathan.
Richard's going.
I'll debate you, so long as I can make the audience know that you're a stupid pancake believer before we even start.
No, that's a fallacy.
No, it's all relative. I'll say it again. Pancake believer.
Yeah, you're just a troll. Yeah? You're not worthy of our discussion. You're beneath us.
He managed to say it 4 or 5 times, though.
Yeah, managed to poison the well repeatedly, with me pointing out the fallacy. Yeah, what a win. What a wonderful win. Anybody else while we're still live? Feel free to come and call us pancake believers.
I was just wondering if Rich would like to jump in. He's pretty active in the chat here. Rich, you got anything you'd like to pipe in with?
I mean, who does things like that? Like, how do you start a conversation with somebody by kind of basically spitting in their face? Like, how do you expect to have a progressive conversation after that? And then when it's pointed out to you, you do it again. You're not serious. Not a serious person.
It's like
I was
raising.
thinking the same thing, Chocolate.
Like raising your hand in an abortion debate and going, "Can I just ask a question for the baby killers?"
Yeah, basically.
No, but like, if you have proof, right? Why don't you come in proper and lay down your cards? Very telling.
He did. He did. That's
Yeah,
all they
you're
have.
right. He did.
Yeah, they need to poison the well. That's the first gambit.
And look, it's not to say I don't understand. Maybe it makes you feel like you got a couple of hairs on your chest, and you could breathe better. That you got I got to call a flat earther a pancake believer. Wow. But then if we stop you there, you can't progress with the conversation. So what you've done is just ad hom, and then that's it. And then you leave. You can't even bring it back, calm it down, and say, hey, all right, let's have the conversation. My bad. I didn't mean to come in and ad hom you, poison the well. Right? I mean, a long time ago, we had a Glober actually quote, a logical fallacy is better than nothing. It seems like that's really becoming true. It seems like this is all the Globe side has, is logical fallacy. And it seems like you guys are okay with that.
Well, when QE comes in and calls them globetards, he backs it up with evidence that the globe does not exist and Earth is measured flat. They just come in and call us names.
Well, maybe Nick, the last person that was in here with his ad homs, would like to have a chance to present some type of positive globe evidence rather than ad homs. Would you like a crack, Nick?
Looking at the chat, I don't think he's going to be able to.
Yeah, no, I will. I was going to try to debunk flat Earth, but I will. I'll present a globe, pro globe position. I don't mind. Give me 1 minute because I don't have like a collection of sources. Give me 1 minute to pull some up, and I'll go from there. Okay?
Nice. No worries. Just let us know when you're back.
Awesome.
Is it true?
I'll turn off my studio lights. I was just about to round out this live stream. We will be staying live, it seems.
Plus, to make a decent pancake, the frying pan will need to be horizontal.
And the liquid that you pour is flat and level in the pancake for the most part.
Yeah, that's why the pan's got to be level.
Listen, I'm excited about this globe proof that's coming.
Just want to highlight while we're in this little interlude that I already made a claim. It wasn't actually a claim, it was a statement of fact in regards to how the sun's measured. I mean, it was paraphrased back to me as though it was a claim I'd made. It isn't. Just want to make that clear. It wasn't in any way addressed. It was agreed to. The gentleman's already been welcomed to Flat Earth. Just so that's on the record.
Yep, that was probably me.
Right,
Apologise.
My bad.
Go for it, Nick.
All right, cool. So since I'm presenting a globe position, I guess my first thing in order here to do is post some links, right? So I posted one link to NASA's web.
Make your claim verbally.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you
so
can,
I'm going to make a claim with the links posted so people can read and listen simultaneously. And I would prefer if you didn't cut me off or interject, Nathan, since you seem to be having huge issues with that, right? So
I've
we don't need that. I'll control the
Okay,
conversation,
well, let's
Nick.
get those ground rules sorted pretty quickly as I run this show. So it's either do as I say or get lost.
So, I mean,
And further to that, it's claim backed by citation. You seem to infer that you were going to send citations first. Don't need any. You haven't claimed anything. So I suggested you verbally make your claim. That was what I added. That you objected to me telling you to do. That's me telling you, as the one in charge, what you will do. If you don't do that, it'll be the end of your time here. So you'll be presenting your claim verbally, won't you?
yes, I will. Again,
On you go.
This is a mutual.
Excellent. Let's hear it.
Right.
Thank you. Excellent.
Well, it's pretty self-evident, right? Since I was well, kind of like asked to present a pro-globe position. So my position is that yes, it is a globe. That's my position. We live on a globe. Earth is a globe.
Yeah,
Simple
so
as
what's
that.
the evidence you have for that? Can you present some type of evidence verbally? We've got
Yes,
the chat.
of course. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay,
So,
go for it, man.
right. So there are two routes that I used to reach this conclusion. The first is that Earth has to be either finite or infinite. Since no one has demonstrated infinite thus far, right? We must assume finite, because we have actually had people claim, finite distance. So that's the first premise.
Okay, let's just
Second
take.
premise
Okay, let's
is
take
that
on that
if-
then. Let's just take on that then. That's a
Oh,
non
wait,
sequitur.
do you have
Well,
ADHD?
what we should just hear
You
him
have
scattergun
people-
16 claims. I've heard your claim. Yeah, based on
Is
infinite
this
versus.
kindergarten?
I'm going to
You can only have one
respond to his
teacher.
claim. Now he can keep yammering through the top of his first claim, or maybe the mods will let him make 17 claims, one after the next, so we can forget about a few. Personally, I'd prefer claim and then response. Claim, Earth sphere. Evidence, it's not. Because it's either the false dichotomy of finite versus infinite, Earth is a sphere. That's a non sequitur fallacy conclusion. It's not in any way linked to Earth's sphericity. So your first piece of evidence that you concluded with point 1 and then tried to move on to point 2 is non sequitur to your claim of Earth's sphericity. That does not prove Earth's sphericity. It is non sequitur. Your false dichotomy is non sequitur to the original claim. Fail. Total fail. Did you want to go on to your
Cool.
second?
Now that I'm unmuted,
Did you
please
want to
demonstrate
go
how it's
on
a
to?
false dichotomy.
I'm still talking. You were put on mute because presumably you were yammering through the top of me addressing your first claim. You decided that me addressing your garbage non sequitur fallacy needed you talking through the top of that being addressed so that it's concluded.
No. How about
as
you
a
just
non
address it?
You see, that's why you've been put on mute, because I'm talking and you're talking through the top of me, and a mod stepped in to stop that garbage. I've got no control of you deciding to use your mute button while I'm talking. The mods can stop you, though, as I conclude the non sequitur fallacy in point 1. Claim, Earth sphere. Evidence, non sequitur, false dichotomy with infinite and finite. Doesn't prove a damn thing. It's non sequitur false dichotomy. Okay? Okay, that's you losing. Now you'll be taken off mute, so I can smirk at your crap response you'll offer. Now I've finished.
Cool. Now that you are finished, yappering, no, it's not a non sequitur, and it's not a false dichotomy. Here's why. I didn't draw any conclusion from the shape of the Earth due to the surface distance. I did not do that. That was you inferring that, and you failed miserably. So that's kind of sad.
So what your response is to say that you didn't offer this as a proof of Earth's sphericity. So my objection that this isn't a proof of Earth's sphericity is also your rebuttal. I wasn't offering point 1 as a proof of Earth's sphericity. You failed to listen to point 1 as a backing to my claim of Earth's sphericity. It wasn't meant to be proving Earth's sphericity, is your response. Why the bloody hell did you say it then? Yeah, it was non sequitur, like I pointed out. Not in positive confirmation of your claim, non sequitur. But apparently it wasn't supposed to be backing your claim. Yeah, that's why it's non sequitur. That's why I stopped you and pointed out your use of a non sequitur fallacy. If your response is to say it wasn't attempting to prove Earth's sphericity, then you shouldn't really be saying it. You understand?
By
Non
itself,
sequitur?
which you clearly misheard. You failed to listen, which is sad. Put me on mute again. I mean, you just want to talk. You don't want to have a conversation. It's clear, it's evident. Like, you want to have a monologue, like a...
That's ad hominem fallacy. Non sequitur, infinite versus finite, is a false dichotomy, and it is offered up as proof of a sphere by him in point 1. therefore non sequitur. Telling me I can't have a conversation is an ad hominem fallacy because it doesn't address my argument rebuttal, which is to say it is non sequitur to compare infinite to finite in a false dichotomy and say it proves Earth's sphericity. In response to that, you, offering point 1 for proof of Earth's sphericity, have said I wasn't offering it as proof of sphericity. You didn't listen. If it wasn't offered as proof of sphericity, it shouldn't be a point, as that's the only thing you're supposed to be doing, offering evidence for your positive claim that Earth's a globe. If this isn't it ipso facto is non sequitur. It's not that I didn't listen, it's that you've offered a non sequitur.
So maybe you can move on to your second point, Nick. By the sounds of it, you believe somehow your second point's going to tie into your first point. So let's move to the second then.
It can't. It's a non.
We're not
His first
done with
point
the
was
first
non
one. I'm just
sequitur.
being muted and yelled at. So it's not a non sequitur. Here's why, right? Because on itself, it's not drawing any conclusion. What it does is it narrows down the conclusion as to what the shape can be, right? And so with demonstrating that it is finite and ruling out the infinite, right? We can narrow down the possible shapes that it can take from geometry and math, right? He failed to realize that. And the false dichotomy is just a term that he's thrown out there. It's not a false dichotomy. Unless you have a third option. What else can it be than finite or infinite? Please tell the room. Please tell the room. Because you don't have a third option. So it is absolutely a true dichotomy. You fail to realize that. And you're just looking, kind of silly right now, Nathan. So, yeah.
A true dichotomy is infinite versus finite for proof of Earth's sphericity. According to you, that's
no, for the surface.
There's me thinking I can't have a conversation when I didn't say a word as he just talked his yammery nonsense. There's him talking straight through the middle of the first thing I say. It's almost like he can't have a conversation. It's projecting that straight onto me, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen of the audience? So it's definitely those two things, infinite versus finite for your proof of sphericity, and that's not a false dichotomy and not a non sequitur because it links to Earth's geometric measurements. Therefore, not a non sequitur. Oh, it still absolutely is. You saying linked to Earth's measurements in geometric terms won't make it in any way any less of a non sequitur fallacy to say that finite versus infinite somehow proves the shape of Earth as you've suggested. It's just as much a non sequitur fallacy, even with your point B expansion, which is neither a point A or a point B. Your point A was non sequitur. Your point B doesn't make it any less of a non sequitur. Hope that's clear.
No, not at all. You did a really poor job at making anything clear. You just threw a bunch
ad
of
hominem fallacy. Ad hom.
Yeah, you did that. Yeah, correct. I'm glad you realized that. Now, moving on, right? So you're clearly wrong, and it's a true dichotomy. And secondly, to build on that, right? The reason I brought it up is we're talking about the surface area first, right? And that in relation also has a length. Now, with that covered, right, we now need to map that surface area on a geometric object, unless, of course,
how do we measure
and
it?
I haven't heard you, so I'll ask you, right?
Map what? We haven't
Now
measured anything yet. Stop. Map what? We haven't measured anything yet. What do we measure?
So I'm muted again. Cool.
Yeah, what do we measure?
Can I have a conversation just without getting muted, or
Nick,
because otherwise, this is not really fruitful.
I was just going to moan.
Nick, we're going to take it one step at a time, man. So if you're talking about taking measurements and then mapping, then we first need to cover these measurements. We can't just make the claim, well, we take measurements, we map it out, has to be on this surface, etc. Let's take it one step at a time. So mapping, how did we take these measurements?
How do we? Well, I mean, we.
Well, how do they? How is the measurement taken? Sorry, I rephrase that.
No, it's fine. To be fair, the reason I said I had two routes is because this route kind of consists on data collected by other people, right? And so with that in mind, why I linked to NASA and why I will bring up now Google is because both of those companies have contributed, providing this data. And so when I say that we have a finite distance, I say that because on my phone, I'm not done. I'm almost done. Can I get it out? Or are you just gonna...
Yeah. So did anybody get the answer? Or should he just try again?
Yeah, no, he didn't.
No, I was just about to stop him. He needs to try again.
Yeah,
how it was measured,
because it was originally my question. So
measured
what are the
multiple
measurements?
times. What do you mean how? Like, a lot of people.
He's not going to. He's going to plow on regardless of questions because he hasn't answered me or you that reiterated my question. What measurements? What are we measuring? You say NASA and Google. No, those are references. Those aren't measurements. NASA isn't a measurement. Google isn't a measurement. What's being measured to map Earth? Do you know? Yes or no?
Yes.
What's
and that's
being
why
measured?
I said. I
Okay,
was
so what is it?
rudely interrupted. Oh my God, I'm muted.
What's being measured?
Okay. Distance. Hello?
How do we measure that?
Satellite imagery, right?
No.
GPS, global positioning system.
No,
We have also.
GPS is a system that's already been derived and is plotted onto a Mercator projection. So no, that isn't how the measurement's done. It's how they're plotted after the fact. It seems you don't know how things are being
you're
measured.
incorrect.
It seems that he's now chanting through me, correcting him.
Wait, okay,
being wrong isn't acceptable. So he's going to keep talking. No, the Mercator projection has gone through quite a series of transformations to be part of GPS. You said GPS. That's not a measurement. Satellites. No, there are no satellites floating around in orbital motion derived from flat Earth measurements. You just don't realise that. This is not a measurement. Satellites. Now, a satellite isn't a measurement. Do you know? The answer seems to be no. Because you're waffling on about Google, NASA, measurements aren't those. Now you're talking about satellites. Okay, you've said distance. How do we measure that? It isn't with GPS on a Mercator projection. Okay? So do you know or not?
My condolences that you can't really assert that when I say distance, that is any unit, right? That takes the shape of any unit. So if you prefer miles, if you prefer kilometers,
Oh,
it doesn't really matter, right?
miles.
Distance is distance.
Oh, miles. Miles are a flat Earth.
okay.
Miles. I heard you.
like,
Miles. I
word.
got your answer. Now you can shut up while I take that to my evidence of a flat Earth, because flat Earth is what you will need to derive miles. Did you not know that they're based on elevation angle measurements to Polaris to give you nautical miles, to convert to statute miles, so that we have land distances as a straight line distance? Miles are in straight lines. Flat Earth measurement derivation in the first instance with Polaris. This is a flat Earth proof. If you're going to derive distance for anything, it's going to be a flat Earth evidence. You don't get distances from spheres. You get it by measuring a flat Earth.
So when you're done, right? The reason I said distance and you can insert any unit, right? And you spurred out when I said miles is because it doesn't really matter if you use miles.
Miles are a flat Earth
whatever,
distance.
Right?
My response
just
after
gonna
getting
have
my
an
answer,
arbitrary
my answer
piece
to the question, what measurement are we going to be using, is miles. And they are flat Earth. You are using flat Earth distances. They are flat. They're not curving. This isn't a proof of a sphere. You've tied this connected, non-connected, non-sequitur of infinite versus finite with a distance measurement. And when you told us what the distance is going to be, miles, that's a flat Earth only assertion. Okay? So we're proving a flat Earth.
Okay, so for the whole room, right? What just happened is I said you can take any unit of measurement. I started saying kilometers. Then I said miles.
Kilometers is also a flat Earth distance.
Nathan
Kilometers is also a
me.
flat Earth distance. You can only describe kilometers as a flat, straight distance. That is not a curve Earth distance. That's a flat Earth distance. Kilometers are flat.
And Nick, I'm not sure why you have an issue with him choosing miles due to the fact that you presented it as an option in your own argument. And now, instead of addressing that argument of why Nathan may be incorrect, you want to run off on a tangent about how he chose miles when it was in your presentation.
He needs a
No,
flat
he
Earth
can choose
distance.
any unit. That's why I said any unit, and he wanted.
You don't need to get quite so
And
close
he
to
did.
your mic
He
when you're
chose
losing.
miles.
Yeah, just back off your mic when you're losing, my friend. Yeah, miles are a flat Earth distance. You're using flat Earth measurements to make your claim. So this is point C, point A and B were both non sequiturs, not connected to the claim of sphericity. Now we're on to point C, a measurement of distances. And so far you've offered kilometres and miles. They're both flat.
So okay, let me get this. Let me get this perfectly straight. Okay, so you're saying in geometry you can't really use any number of unit to measure, for instance, the circumference of a ball or a spheroid, because that will be straight. So you cannot have, for instance, say, circumference of the Earth, or take something smaller, right?
Sorry, circumference of Earth.
A stadium.
Sorry, circumference. I heard circumference
or
of
a
Earth.
lake.
Stop.
Wait,
Stop.
you spoke now.
Stop. I heard circumference of Earth. That's also a flat Earth derivation. That circumferential value, obviously directly connected to the radial value, is measured with respect to Polaris also. Minimum elevation angle measurement to Polaris gives you your outside edge of a sphere after conversion. The actual measurement is of a area of equal elevation. Minimum elevation angle to Polaris. That's where you get your circumferential value from. So you're using flat Earth measurements for that also.
I mean, this is like a slow motion conversation. I get like 1 inch of progress and then I'm muted and you have to like monologue for a bit. And then I get 1 inch. I mean, I appreciate it. We are getting progress, but it takes a while. Nathan, perhaps you could go on mute and
Yeah,
just listen.
Nico, I did explain this to you. Yeah, we're going to cover one claim at a time.
I'm trying to cover
And
it, man.
that's right, and that's why you just got muted, because you state something and then you move on to the next point without it being covered. So I have to mute for a second so we can cover that point. Yeah.
Yeah, like circumference.
Yeah, that's great. I don't mind going
You
point to
asserted
point.
a
I said this
circumference.
in the
Yes,
now
you're
it's
not
happening
listening to
again.
me. You're not listening to me. You asserted a circumference.
Because you're over talking me like a rude ass
Yeah,
adult.
when you
but
make a
you're
claim.
clearly not.
Yeah, that's because you made
You're
a claim.
kid.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
made a claim. Yeah, as soon as you do that, you're going to get stopped in your tracks. Circumference, you say? Earth having a circumference? Yeah, that's got a measurement attached to it. Now, you may not know what that is, but I'm going to stop you immediately because you're inferring Earth has a circumference that's on a sphere. But that measurement for that circumference you are now making as a claim to prove Earth's sphericity is a claim that I know where the origin measurement came from. A flat Earth. Now, you think I can yammer on using this circumferential value that's derived from a flat Earth measurement, and why the hell should you be able to stop me using this flat Earth derivation when I make my sphere claim? Because you're measuring a flat Earth to get it. So we're going to stop you and say the moment you say circumference, that's a value that needs a measurement attached, and the only measurement is a flat Earth one. So you're proving flat Earth when you use your fundy sphere belief of a circumferential value, actually an area of equal elevation measured on a flat plane. That's why you're being stopped. Because you're using flat Earth to make your claim move forward.
No, I didn't.
So,
Here's why.
all
Here's
we
why.
need to hear,
Right? No,
Nick,
I'm going to go
Nick.
address what was just said, please, without being muted, right? I get to say something as well as a response. Cool. So my response to your rebuttal is no, right? Because a mile, regardless of its history and how it's derived, right, is a unit that you can get by either, multiplying or dividing another unit, right? Arbitrarily. It doesn't really matter which one it is. For instance, you can use kilometers as a conversion, right? And it doesn't really care about the history of a mile and how you think it's somehow, proving a flat Earth. No, it's also just a metric that you can have, right? Just like pounds and kilos, you have this relative, different units that you could use. And yes, perhaps the history of those and how they were derived are prone to either supporting flat or globe prerogative. I acknowledge that, right? But that's why I said you could use any unit for distance, because this isn't about the history. It's about the actual maths and the physics, right? Which you clearly is just trying to like obfuscate from, which is why I'm getting kind of heated, right? Because it's not good faith. What you're doing is terrible faith. You're not trying to engage with the point. You're just trying to like dismantle it on semantics of me bringing up miles as an option and you latching onto that. And it's crazy. I hope the whole room is like able to see this. So yeah. Now
I'm listening
this is
to
why
this
you're
little bit, guys. It's just,
oh, you're done listening because you're getting wrecked. Okay, go mute me then.
This is somebody else. Just responding to what you just said. It's Adam here. You do sound a little bit confused. You've just made a very odd statement, trying to confabulate pounds and ounces and metric units as if they're interchangeable. No, you seem to have a point that you can interchange units, and I would accept that point with conversion, but you're missing the point of where you get them all from in the first place. That's what was put to you. Could we just stay on target, get back to measurement, and recognize how do we derive the units, whichever units we're going to describe them in, but how are they defined in the first place, not subdivided later?
I'll field this, Adam. We get them from a flat
That's a good clarification.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I can answer that. We get them from a flat Earth.
How? Please walk me through
Elevation
that,
angle measurements, like I explained earlier with the sun, that would be how we derive things like the longitude system. Or elevation
Or a
angle
meter?
measurements. I'm answering you. It seems you can't converse.
the
Maybe your
unit,
projection of
unit.
your inability to converse is just that, projection. I am answering you. You asked me how we
No, you're
measure
not.
Earth flat. I'm telling you, and you're talking while I'm talking because you're intolerable, like I already surmised right at the start of your entrance to this discussion. Like with the latitude system, the latitude system would be a flat Earth elevation angle measurement to Polaris. These are how we derive these systems. That is how.
No, you're incorrect though, right? Because you don't start at the grand scale and you go and you and you look at the whole Earth and you sort of like divide down from there. You do the other way around. You start at the smallest unit and then you go up, 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 and then you have a bigger unit and you go up, up, up. That's how it's always been. So you're clearly just again obfuscating from how you derive units and how you actually have the history of metrics being developed.
That is
So no, you're
wholly
clearly wrong.
incorrect,
And
sir.
although
Sir,
Okay, Guy, we heard you. Your response
You're
was
not talking about
Adam
the
and the
units
Guy.
themselves,
Can you
you're
both
talking
stop,
about-
please? Can
Oh
you
my
both
God.
stop? We heard your response. No, you're just wrong. No, you are just obfuscating. It's just that you're wrong. We got that. Now Adam's going to reiterate the point that you haven't acknowledged or accepted and are now hand
You
waving.
didn't even engage
You're
with it.
going to
You missed
get
this
a
point.
response.
Embarrassing
We
for
just
you,
need
man.
you to
Yeah,
stop
I hope so.
hand waving through the top of what we're responding with. We don't do that to you. You keep projecting that onto us. You keep interrupting. Go ahead, Adam.
So it was just to point out that your rebuttal is actually the complete opposite. So historically, no, we derive units from the skies and then subdivide. So be those nautical miles, distances from the way they're described by the Egyptians, they're then subdivided into cubits, royal cubits. All of these things, though, when placed on the ground, are initially derived and quantified by the stars. That's how we first use it. And then, like I said, I've got no problem with different units and subdivision later, but your response was the exact opposite. It's sky first, down to the ground, big units first, subdivisions of big units. We don't start with millimeters and put 1,000 together.
This article seems to disagree with you, but if you have a reference to support your argument, I would love to read that. Thank you.
Your article disagrees. What does your article say? We started with millimeters and thought, I know, if I put 1,000 of them together, I'll get a meter.
I did explain.
Yeah, so I provided a Wikipedia site, right, citation to the metric system.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for that. As stated,
no problem. You're welcome.
Thank you for that. As stated earlier.
You're welcome.
As stated earlier.
I can go
it's
on the
argument. Hello. As stated earlier.
So I'm still waiting for
and I'm never going to get to make this statement because both my own panel and this guy will not allow me to. As stated earlier, it is argument first, then citation to support it. You've dumped a citation and gone, I've cited. No. Do you want to verbally make your argument like earlier with the non sequitur fallacy within finite and finite and a false dichotomy to prove sphericity, which it didn't? That was you verbally making an argument. You need to do that now. Then we don't need the citations because we'll hear the argument, and if we require them, we'll have a look at them after you make your verbal argument. Go ahead.
Right, my condolences for you not being able to, carry on a knowledge that was set prior. But what I did say before linking anything, right, is that it doesn't start at the grand level. It starts at a smaller level, and this article supports that, right? It says it started as a metric or a meter or a cubic, right? And then they use that to scale, right? Which is what I said first. So you're incorrect again with your rebuttal. Thank you for proving that to the whole room. And I would like to talk to your friend, right? Because he's much more capable and suited to have a conversation. So you can stay off, Nathan. Thank you.
Can we have that citation sent to us in the G+ panel via Skype?
It's in Master B.
Thank you very much. Go ahead, Adam.
Again, I disagree. If you want to take the meter is a subdivision of off of a presupposed ball. So you take 1/4 of a circumferential value and divide it by into thousands. So that's an equivalent distance. This is how they're quantified initially. You then break it down using decimalized terms in the case of metric units, or an imperial ways in which they use a base 12 or a base 16. So, but initially, things are broken down into smaller. That's my point of opposition to you and what I interjected with. It's not the reverse, which you suggested, that things are built up.
And again, if you're going to say that, right, then you need to provide something to back it up. Otherwise, it's just your words claiming it, right? Because this article says that, yes, and I agree with you, it was taken from the natural world, dividing the circumference of Earth, or what was supposed to be the actual circumference of Earth, right? Assuming that, in this debate that it's not really given, right? It could be that it's flat and wrong, but this is how they derived it nonetheless. And I agree, right? But for you to say, well, that came after the mile, or that came after flat Earth, yada, yada, right? You still haven't provided anything for that. So for me to accept that and move on, I would still need to see a reference. So I'm waiting for that.
It says it in your wiki reference. Base unit of measurement. Essentially what Adam discussed. Right there. It's one of the clickable links in the citation you gave from wiki.
Where do you say?
In the language of measurement, physical quantities are quantifiable aspects of the world, such as time, distance, velocity, mass, temperature, energy, and weight. One of the hyperlinks in your own citation.
In the development of non-coherent metric systems? That section, correct?
History of the metric system is what I got as your citation on wiki.
Yeah, we're talking about this sublink, correct? Just so we're on the same page. Physical quantity.
Base units, about the 6th paragraph down. Due to the instability of international prototype of the kilogram, a series of initiatives were undertaken starting in the late 20th century. In that paragraph, there's a hyperlink to base units.
Wait, can you just link it? Yeah, you just link
your citation.
Since it's no. This is a sublink, so that would be a new citation. That's how it works, right? So yeah go ahead and link it, please.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, link it, right? Or have somebody else link it. Thank you. Like, I can't find it. I don't know why. It puts me to another site that I also
in Master B. Can someone stick it in the Discord server for him?
Yeah, I got it.
And while we're
sorry,
waiting,
guys,
right?
I'm going to have to just drop Nathan for a bit. I've got some at the shop, but I'm not running honest. It's just the work, I'm afraid.
Yeah, no worries.
Nick, 52 minutes after the hour.
What does that mean? Is it commercial time or?
Meanwhile,
52 minutes after the hour.
While this is fascinating, yeah, nautical miles are derived from Polaris measurement. That's the starting point. We start with elevation angle measurements to Polaris to give us.
Wait, it doesn't say nautical miles anywhere in the whole.
There's me just describing nautical mile measurement. 1 degree.
It doesn't say
for
that.
every 60 nautical miles. That is the measurement derived from how much Polaris drops towards the horizon as you back away from it. That's where we get nautical miles from.
You might be correct, but it's you haven't cited it. It's just you saying it, right? And I asked for a citation. You haven't provided. So I'm asking again, can someone help this guy out, or can he, or somebody else?
I'm too lazy, so I don't.
You're too lazy to back up anything.
Just explaining.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you're conceded
I'm
to
going to
that
explain
point.
it, hopefully with you talking straight to the top of it. Yeah, I don't need to. Feel free to check out whether or not I'm wrong, but I'm right.
Okay, so you concede on that point. Thank you.
No, not at all.
Okay, so moving on.
I'll put something to that, Nathan.
Huh?
Pardon?
53 minutes after the hour from Horizon, www.scientificamerican.com. What exactly is north?
Beans, right? Whoever's talking over AJ, stop. Whoever's talking over AJ, just stop. Look, I might be too lazy because I know I'm right already, but AJ's decided to back this for me, so let him.
Wait, hold on. Where's my money?
Okay. Consequently, the angle between the northern horizon and Polaris is equal to the observer's latitude. For example, when viewed from the equator, 0 degrees latitude, Polaris lies on the northern horizon as the observer moves northward, right? So, as per Nathan stated, we acquire latitude from horizontal angle measurements from the surface to Polaris.
I get it. I get that's what the citation says. However, since we're very specifically honing in on the history of the unit's development, right, which was, in fact, what Nathan was pressing, is this came first, right? I don't see a year anywhere in that paragraph. So how does this help?
It's your claim. You were the one claiming that.
No, it's your claim. Hello? Are you not able to follow the conversation? You have other people provide links, and then you're still
losing? It seems
losing?
like I'm getting straight away chanted.
1v5.
My bad. Obviously, I'm going to have to ask a moderator.
This is insane.
So, He made a claim
Can I
that he would
ask?
back Earth's
I'm not sure
sphericity.
you can
Now I'm
hear
getting
you.
a white knight
Can I ask
chanting
you guys
through
a
me.
question?
Seems a white knight's chanting through me now, it would seem. He made a claim that he could prove Earth's sphericity. We've
Why are
gone
you guys
through
doing this?
point A,
Why is it
point B, and point C so far. And point C's distance measurement will prove sphericity. This is his claim. Now, I have suggested that, contrary to his belief that he can offer up miles, kilometres, to suggest something that proves sphericity, they are a flat Earth prerequisite because they are flat distances, straight in nature. That is a fact. Now we're arguing about the history of miles and kilometres, and he's suggesting this is part of my claim. So what did I claim? Did I make an assertion that miles prove a flat Earth? I said that they're derived from flat Earth measurements after you used it as part of your claim for sphericity. Fact, they are straight line distances. Fact, they are not curving. Fact, we derive them from angle measurements to the stars. It's not my claim. Those are counterpoints to your positive assertion that white knights have got their mics wide open while I overcome it. Because so far there's nothing in this at all that offers any evidence whatsoever of sphericity. Zero. But what, it's my claim about the history of miles? You were the one who offered up miles. I pinned you on what your measurement was going to be. The words that crossed your lips were miles. Now it's suddenly my claim. Nah, mate. These are flat distances. Fact. These are derived from angles to stars. Fact. There's nothing in any of that that's spherical in any way, shape, or form. To back your claim that isn't mine. I haven't claimed it to anything. Yeah, this isn't claiming or proving sphericity by any chance, because that was what you were doing. It's not my claim. Hope that's clear.
It's not clear at all. Here's why. Give me 20 seconds without interrupting and muting, right? So you pressed me on the unit of measurement that I offered up, which was amongst many miles, right? Not the only one and not the first one either, right? You pressed me and said, well, you're using now flat Earth terminology to prove your point. So by extension of that, you're affirming a flat Earth position, therefore debunk. That it was clearly stated, the whole room heard it. Then I pressed you back and said, no, for you to say that, you would either have to reference it or I would have no counter reference. I did provide a counter reference. We did look at it. You didn't provide a reference. We couldn't, some guy tried to help you out. It didn't really support yours. And now you're trying to, trace back to where we started off and say, well, this was a big detour. Yeah, it was a big detour because you made it one. That's why I said 1 inch progress at a time. But we were making progress because the whole room could see, well, you're shaking, your position is crumbling, right? Thank you.
Okay,
20 seconds
my
up.
bad. Fair enough. May I respond in my crumbling, weakening position? In this history of metric system, can you point me to where Earth is measured spherical in the description, please?
It doesn't matter at all.
So, to conclude, it's non sequitur to your claim that this description of measurement of distance of miles after clarity being offered after me asking has no connection to proving sphericity. I see.
No. The distance has connection.
Where does it say that in this citation, please?
Right? But the unit.
Excuse me, I'd just like to reiterate my question. Where does it say that?
Please.
In the history of the metric system, where does it say that in this reference, please?
Where does it say what?
The sphericity will be referenced for the distance in metric, aka kilometers. Where does it say that it's a spherical-based system?
So, well, let's go back. I closed it off. Let me click it. There's no need to rush this conversation. We can take our time.
It doesn't say that, because it's flat. Kilometers is flat. It's not spherical.
Second paragraph. The first practical realization of the metric system came in 1799 during the French Revolution.
I don't need you to read it all. I don't want. Sorry, I didn't ask and invite you to read this to my live audience.
Like a line number, or
excuse me. I didn't ask you to read this to me. I didn't ask you to read out the citation.
And how do you want the answer, man? You want a line
Excuse me,
number?
mods. Can you stop this man from reading out a wiki citation in full when I've asked him to direct me to the paragraph that explicitly states kilometers have something to do with Earth's sphericity? I'd just like him to point me to a paragraph number.
Right. Okay. So second paragraph, fourth line to, I guess, eighth line. Yeah.
Go on then. Read it out.
Oh, now you want it read out.
Yeah,
I thought you just made a big show and then threw a tantrum of me.
Kilometers.
Now you want it read out?
Now you're asking me a question. Yeah, I'm responding to the question you just asked. Is it only that we'll be allowed to be asking questions and then you continually talk through the, non-rhetorical question? Yeah, just direct me to the exact statement and then read it out.
Yeah, if you're not understanding, Nick, he wants to read along to what you're actually stating, so you need to point out in your citation where you're reading from.
The bit that says Earth being
I did that.
spherical gives
I
us
gave you line.
kilometers.
He asked for a line number. I gave him a line number.
Oh, now read it out so he can read along. Read it out so that we can all hear it, and he can, and everybody.
That's what I did to begin with.
Read
And you cut
along.
me off and said, mute me for reading out art.
It doesn't seem that this citation says anything about kilometers having anything to do with sphericity while the rumpusing obfuscation begins. So in a very calm manner, I'll tell my audience there is no reference to kilometers being spherical in any way, shape or form in this reference. The obfuscation tactics that he's now employing aren't going to change that.
Okay, Nick, I'm going to explain to you how you present a citation. You need to say from Wikipedia, yeah? Second paragraph, third line down, and it says the basic units were taken from, okay? So that we can read along to what you're reading out. Thank you. Can we please start again?
Citation taken from Wikipedia, second paragraph, line 4, midway through, starting with, the basic units were taken from the natural world. The unit of length, the meter, was based on the dimensions of Earth, and the unit of mass, the kilogram, was based on the mass of volume of water in 1 liter, a cubic decimeter. Right, that's it. Now, later on...
So it didn't mention sphericity at all in reference to a kilometre. So your point C, when you say distance as a starting point, has absolutely no reference whatsoever to anything.
Wait, what do you
spherical.
think you measured
I'm concluding
dimension in?
it seems that this man has an inability to communicate.
Wait, what do you think
Maybe
you measure
more
a dimension
projection
in?
of this non-stop obfuscation that needs muting. Maybe he'll be muting me with his talking through me. Oh no, it seems a mod stepped in to stop you doing that. There is no reference to kilometres having a connection to sphericity in this citation. Doesn't reference that. So we've had a non sequitur. That would be the false dichotomy point B, because that was strictly speaking the same point of infinite versus finite proving sphericity, but then when that's challenged as a non sequitur, it wasn't even alleged to be proving sphericity. Here we are on point C with distance measurement. Distances are flat. And in his citation that apparently justifies why he's using kilometres, metres, whatever he's using, miles, who cares, cubits, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Well, where does it say that they've got any connection to sphericity? It doesn't.
Can I say something, Nathan?
No, no.
It's saying,
Nathan.
It says something.
Sorry,
Sasha's going to insist.
Oh, I'm unmuted now.
Can I say? It says
I
only.
did cover this earlier, guys. When you mentioned the kilometre, I just double checked it, and it's 1/10,000,000th of the distance from the North Pole to the equator. It's another flat Earth distance that's described here, that's measured flat and then broken down flat. But the initial concept is, I told you it was about, I thought they described it as a quarter of the ball. It's probably the bally program I watch. But the reality is that you divide the distance between the North Pole and the equator to points that you are able to define from things in the sky, knowing it's flat, and you divide it by 10 million. That is the official and origination of the meter.
So you'll need
to say, as per the citation, this is the dimensions of the Earth that are being measured with angle measurements.
So definitely need to. This is us taking our victory because we're using flat Earth measurements as was originally asserted. On screen for my audience is an elevation angle measurement to 2 stars. In the case of kilometres and metres, we have an elevation measurement to Polaris derivation off a flat plane. Fact, kilometres, like miles, as I explained earlier. I mean, I've already gone through those, but now we're going through kilometres. Yeah, that's the derivation of this angle measurement with Polaris, with a flat plane, to get an angle. It's a flat Earth measurement that you're using. It's the 3rd failure in a row.
No, you haven't demonstrated that. No, incorrect again, right? And in paragraph 14, it clearly says that it's spherical, right? So the sphericity, right? I hate that word, but it's clearly demonstrated further down in the same article. So I don't know how there could be any doubt in your head, and I don't know why I was muted before I could say this.
Sorry, before you make the conclusion.
I said 14.
Stop.
Try to listen, homie.
Yeah, we need to paragraph and
Do you
align,
have
and then we'll hear
issues
you
with
read
counting?
it. Paragraph?
Added to the issue of listening.
What paragraph?
So that would
What
be
line?
under. It would. I got it here. It's under the shape and size of the Earth, and
Correct.
it's about. Or you can really start from the beginning.
Sorry, this.
Yes,
This.
you
Sorry,
absolutely
let me get
can.
this straight.
Correct.
You want to go down to a subcategory that is specifically about the shape and size of Earth, that is not a part of the original citation that you gave. It's about 2/3 further down the reference, correct?
Yep, and I've just read it and debunked it straight away. The Earth's circumference in nautical miles.
Nautical miles are flat.
A flat Earth measurement.
I feel like we're walking kind of a circle here,
Nautical
right? Because it
miles.
seems that-
Stop! Don't tell
Why
us
are you
what we're
cutting me
doing.
off
Stop!
again?
Stop!
Why are you-
Stop! Nautical miles.
Stop beating you?
Stop!
Okay, I'm sorry.
Stop! Nautical miles are flat. I explained that about 10 minutes ago.
You never explained it, no, because you didn't provide any reference. so
Elevation
you
angle
conceded that
measurement to
point. So no,
Polaris.
you
I
didn't.
went through
You
it in
absolutely
great
did not
detail,
do
and
that.
I went through it 2
Incorrectly,
minutes
then
ago.
again,
I went
incorrect.
through it. No, he's just going to chant that I didn't do it. I went through it. Not only did I
No,
go
you
through
did do it.
I highlighted to my audience a diagrammatical example of it. There's 140 people listening to me, explaining to them, and you, it's just that you're not listening, how we derive nautical miles
I would
with
say you're doing a
elevation
poor
angle.
job.
There's the chanting. There's the fundy mute button. Gotta mute me, right? I explained it earlier and had a diagram that I pointed my audience to. 140 people know you're lying or not listening. Here's another example on screen for my audience of an elevation angle with a flat baseline. The way we derive nautical miles is with elevation angle measurements to a specific star called Polaris. It forms our latitude system, 1 degree of declination towards the horizon, representing 60 nautical miles. That is how it is done. Again, I'm not going to cite a damn thing, I'm right. This is a flat Earth measurement depicted on screen. I've gone through it 3 times. Obviously, my opponent can't listen because he thinks kilometres also derive by way of an extrapolation of the angle to Polaris off a flat Earth. Can't get angles off curves. It's a flat Earth measurement, like we pointed out to him.
Yeah, let me know when you're done. You're done? Okay. So my response again is you might be right. Right? You might be correct, but you haven't proven that. And in this, sorry, I don't know if you want to call it debate. It seems like it's a debate. I wanted to have a conversation, but fair. Whatever this is, you need to provide a citation or a source as to why what you're saying is correct. Because although you might be correct, the only way to really sway an audience and to actually acknowledge what truth is that you have to have something substantiated, which you haven't done. You were too lazy, right?
No,
so that's
well,
the
I'll
first
just
thing.
make-
So
I'll
no,
make
you
my-
haven't done that. Even
Yeah,
though
you
you
made
might
a
be correct,
statement, and I'd
I'm
like
not
to.
saying
No,
that
he's never going to
necessarily,
stop.
but why are you gonna
You're gonna make a statement, say right,
the one
and
throwing
then keep
attention every
talking.
time I interrupt? And now you're
Right?
doing the
Yeah,
same.
because you made a
You're
statement and
hypocritical.
asked for an affirmation
You're
with the
hypocritical,
statement right.
lazy, and
Yeah,
bad
can you just
at
mute
arguing.
him? Yeah,
My
you
bad,
said
Nathan.
something about
Losing.
me and then said right, and
Big
now you
L,
won't shut
homie.
up.
140
Once you've
people
poisoned the
watching
well, you
From-
won't shut up. No, not right. No, I don't need to make citations, as you seem to incorrectly infer. No, my argument stands alone, and the citations that we have had back my arguments. That is to say, when it's described in your citation as angles to Polaris, fact, those angles are straight lines. Don't need to cite it. It's not even inferred. Those are facts. My argument stands without citation. Yeah, I am absolutely lazy. My arguments are made in such a manner that I don't need citation. Don't need to prove an angle's 2 straight lines. We're talking about baseline measurements of Polaris. The citations we've already had made that clear. They were yours. I didn't need a damn thing. I know what an elevation angle measurement is. I know it can't come from a curved surface, and I know that that's how we measure Earth. You, on the other hand, want to tell me that I'm not listening as you chant through me, having made assertions about how I make my arguments that, according to you, fail because I haven't cited anything. No, I don't need to. I make my point in my argument. It doesn't need citation. You, on the other hand, have relied on citing things prior to making a damn claim, and then when we have a look at your citations that prove nothing, they don't prove anything beyond my assertions that didn't need citations, like angles to Polaris in your citation. Yeah, I made that as a statement of fact. Didn't make it as an argument. I'm stating facts. Hence, I don't need any citations when I win from my seat in my lazy reclining chair. No, I'm not going to get anything. My argument stands alone. I proved my point in my argument. Don't need any citations. And when I do get them from my opponent, I'll point out, yeah, see that angle to Polaris? Derivation for kilometres? That's a flat Earth measurement, just like I stated as a fact, because it is. Nothing will change my statements of fact when I declare with absolute certitude that Earth is measured flat. It is.
You declaring them to be right doesn't make them right. You're still wrong.
What about the angles in your citation? Are those angles
it doesn't
coming?
say angle.
What about the angles in your citation? Would it be beneficial if my question got immediately answered before I've stated it? Would it be beneficial if my question immediately got a response before I finished it? I think that would put you in a beneficial position to not have to answer it. So these angles in your citation, can you get an elevation angle from a curved baseline?
Literally, yes.
But he's asking anybody else other than this guy. Can you get an elevation angle from a curved baseline?
Yes, literally yes.
Like curved won't give you an angle. That's an oxymoronic statement because if it's a curved line meeting at a vertex, it won't.
If it's a curved line and you look over it, you're going to get an angle.
My response, of course.
The incline position
Obviously,
of the...
it's painful to have the response. I've got to take control of my own live show at the moment because my responses are just getting chanted through by zealot globe believers. No, angles can't meet curves.
Yes, they can from an incline position.
Press the accept button. Thank you.
No, they cannot.
No, angle is defined as two straight lines meeting at a vertex. An angle cannot meet a
Yes,
curve.
and when you look at it from an incline position, it gives you an angle.
Is this a different guy?
From
Why
a
am I talking to a
curve.
different guy? What's going on? Is this guy White Knight?
I mean, you brought in more people.
Which
it's only one side that can bring in more people.
Which you're in the middle of a conversation.
I think we should be allowing more people to join in. Yeah, I would like
a
this
white
guy
knight,
to help
do
me
you?
out.
You think you need a white knight? Those angles. I was talking to you about these angles in your citation. I wasn't talking to another guy about his citation. I was talking about your angles to Polaris and asking you.
Yeah, I'm
if you
following,
can,
and you
and
brought in
maybe
more
if the
people. When
question
you
gets
crumble-
interrupted for a second
No,
time,
now
you
I'm
won't have
just
to answer
following a
it.
friend.
Maybe if
Following a
I
friend.
have to
Are you
control
afraid?
my own line so that my audience can hear that this is the second attempt to interrupt the question about where the angles to Polaris come from and whether or not they can be acquired from curved baselines. I asked this gentleman because his citations had angles to Polaris specifically mentioned, while accusing me of needing citations. His citations, and there's a lot of white noise from somebody who obviously doesn't like this. There's that white noise again from the guy who's been told that he's not going to white knight. Can you mute that guy, the guy at the top of this, Twitch Nort, because he's decided he's going to cause audio chaos as a white knight. Thank you. I asked you if you can get an elevation from a curved baseline. Elevation angle measurements cannot come from curved baselines. They're angles. It was in your citation. Nothing? Just the white knights? Maybe we can move on? I'll conclude then. No, elevation angle measurements can only come from a flat baseline. That is what they are. An elevation angle measurement, as in the case of the derivation for kilometres, a derivation of the angle to Polaris. That's an elevation angle measurement. An imaginary line between you and Polaris and a horizontal plane that the observer is standing on. That is what an elevation angle measurement is. Earth is measured flat, ladies and gentlemen. And but for the white knights and white noise that we have to put up with, we would point that out to our opponents. They would assert that somehow kilometres have got something to do with sphericity, and then take us on a round-robin trip of citations that describe angles to Polaris. Earth is measured flat.
Oh, finally. I could talk. So no, I'm not done, and you're incorrect. And no, nowhere in my citation at all did it say either angle. You can control F or Polaris, right? So that was again a claim that you made that is unsubstantiated and false. You made a wrong claim again. So you can try again, Nathan. I'll listen. You're making a fool out of yourself. And if you're
Your
going to claim
claim.
victory
Do you wanna-
off muting me, then it's very apparent who really won, right? Don't
So
you
do you
think?
want to direct us for your claim where it tells us sphericity?
No, you just made a claim.
No, you are being refuted.
Can you back it up, or are you going to concede again?
I'm going to point out that your claim has an unsubstantiated, refuted fact that it uses sphericity as part of angle measurement to Polaris derivations we call kilometers. You say sphericity as part of your claim. Okay?
Yeah, where? What line?
Do you want
What
to
paragraph? Please
substantiate?
read it out for me
It's
like I did for
obviously
you, right?
easier for this gentleman, as before, if he talks straight through the point being put to him. That's easier than responding to it, clearly. He doesn't know how to communicate. He'll project that through me and mute me whilst moaning about him being stopped from doing what he's doing now. That's chanting through me. The fundamentalist
better.
religious
Come on.
zealot mute button that they use when they're being absolutely annihilated
Come on,
with their
Nathan,
own
you're doing better.
references
Come on.
that
Go,
don't
go.
prove their original assertion that sphericity has something to do with kilometers. It doesn't. When Adam went through the citation, he pointed out that the derivation itself does not come from anything other than Earth measurement, and in this instance, that measurement is an angle to Polaris. That's where he took you.
Okay, so again, I ask, since you, as not anybody else, right, made a claim that in this article or Wikipedia site, whatever you want to call it, right, that it itself, right, invoked Polaris, an angle to Polaris, right, to gain any measurement. In what paragraph and what line, and please read it out for me, did it say that? Because I might have missed it. I might be wrong. Hello?
Right,
Go ahead, Nathan. Thank you.
That was,
Make a
that
fool
was
out of
Adam
yourself
that put
once
that
again.
to you. Yes, that's correct. Now, when he gets back, he might do that. In the meantime,
You just made the claim.
I'm not
You
going to
just
respond
made the claim.
even half a sentence from this zealot triggered Fundy with a zealot globally.
Ad homs,
half
what
a
you're moaning
sentence,
about.
and he's
Nice,
straight
good
away
job.
he's doing
You're
it
triggered,
right
huh?
now.
You're-
If this isn't telling for my audience, I don't know what is. That's right. I got half a sentence out. Did you want to moan about being muted? Go ahead. Go ahead. You were bleating earlier like a bitch about being muted while you can't stop yourself from chanting through every response you get, like you just did 10 seconds ago. Go ahead, moan.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting for what
I
I
want
asked.
you to moan.
Go ahead.
Do you want to moan about being muted? Do you want to moan? Go ahead. Now's your time. Moan.
No, I'm just waiting for what I asked.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
please
you're
provide.
stuttering. Yeah,
Or
you're
concede.
being muted because you're interrupting people while they put things back to
Yeah,
you.
so go ahead.
That
Give
would
me
be to
the
say that
answer. I'm
Adam
waiting.
asserted that, and I pointed out to you that this is part of your original positive assertion that kilometres and distance, point C on your list after a non sequitur fallacy and false dichotomy fallacy was asserted and then denied by yourself as ever being claimed to prove sphericity. We then got on to distance measurement. I asserted the angular relationship with Polaris with nautical miles. Adam asserted that there's a derivation that he referenced. He's not here to back what he said, unfortunately. Perhaps that's why you're doing
I'm
this.
back.
Nevertheless, he is back. You've been asked to
All right,
substantiate
so-
your now apparently positive
Yeah,
claims.
since
that-
you want to cut me off when you bring in multiple
since I'm
points, I kind of want to
re-inviting
do
Adam
the
to
same, right?
substantiate that which you've asked for, maybe it'd be better if you now chant through this. Maybe I'll have
Then
to
I'll
close
wait.
the line
It's
to
fine.
Discord so Adam can lay it down while he doesn't listen to it. We'll have to see how it goes. He's using his fundamentalist religious zealot mute button. As Adam he reintroduces himself, he detects something bad's going to happen. Go ahead, Adam. We'll see how quickly.
I'm not in
Can the people just
Discord,
answer the question?
obviously,
So I
but, what
want to
I've
see where this
done
goes.
If somebody was asking me for a reference,
No, I was asking Nathan
put
since
it-
he's the one who carried on the statement, right? I'm not arguing multiple people since you guys took issue with that when I brought in someone else.
I'm
So
not-
thank
I'm
you.
not-
I'll
I'm
just
not-
be talking to
I'm not-
Nathan, or he can concede.
Yeah,
I don't want to talk
I'm
with
not
anybody
arguing.
else.
I thought you'd ask for a reference to it. So I've put it in Master
Yeah,
B.
from
If there's
him, since
anybody
it was
that
his claim.
could-
So
if there's anybody
Nick,
that could
stop.
access Master B and then stick it to the guys in
Yeah.
Discord, I'd appreciate that.
It's in
but
there
that's
now,
from
so
that-
Nick,
from
in
the
the
BBC, so it just briefly outlines it. But I mean, if more details required, then I could. But I mean, it states the point I make, and it talks about how it's done from the Paris Observatory. So you know, if more details
Yeah, so
required,
in our chat,
Can
at
you
18
answer the
minutes,
question though?
it's a very minor point,
Hang on,
but it is stating that we're taking nature and how we quantifying a unit is taken from the natural world, which
for Nick and Hugh in the chat at 18 minutes past the hour is a citation that Adam's dropped.
You guys take your time with that. I'll shout out a few super chats while that's going on. So shout out to Roger Ledwell, who says,
I'm not saying anything. I just want to hear what your answer is. I see it because I'm trying to listen to the debate.
Shout out to Roger Ledwell. It says, for little right angle triangle. Thank you very much for the super chat. Flat Out Truth also, shout out to you. Thank you for the super chat. It says, duck, dog, dodge, dive. The earth is measured flat. Thank you very much also for the super chat. Steampunk Punk. It says, flat smacked Narnia Genie. Thank you for the super chat. Another shout out to Roger Ledwell. He says, lamp, lamp and candle. Thank you for the super chat. Also, Unitox Femu. Thank you for the super chat. He says, sun has nothing to do with the surface of earth. Really appreciate the support. Thank you very much indeed. Here's for keeping your... I'm going to have to extend this a bit longer. Here's for keeping the show going. Love your work. Looking forward to the book. Thank you. Thank you so far for the super chat. Really appreciate it. And last but by no means least, Roger Ledwell with a double super chat. He says, Adam Meakin, ladies and gentlemen. And also Roger Ledwell again. Sorry about the tea, Adam Meakin. Have one on me. Okay, thank you. That's it. Thank you for the super chat.
Just one thing, if I could add to it. I just read the next paragraph. So, Jean-Baptiste Joseph and Pierre Michan. This is the line that these two astronomers set out to measure from Paris in 1792. You see how they're measuring it? How they're measuring it? They're using
Do I need to bring this up? Sorry.
You can pull it up. It's just it's a very basic point. Just that to differentiate a kilometre, that its derivation is not through the heavens, it's false. It's done in the same way. It's just based on a principle of 1/10 millionth instead of the imperial route, which is mile based. And even that, you see, everything comes from the heavens, though, isn't it? And that's the point. So hopefully that's demonstrated to the gent, and you can move on, knowing that kilometres, metres are flat Earth measurements.
Where does it say that in this? I've got the sketch of them doing an angle measurement to the star, presumably by small scale depiction.
Yeah, it's just above the picture of the observatory and between the picture of the jars, and so just over halfway down.
What am I looking for?
Although the Paris Observatory is not currently open, so halfway down that paragraph, it says, this is the line that the two astronomers set out from Paris to measure in 1792. Jean-Baptiste travelled north to Dunkirk, while Pierre McCain travelled south to Barcelona. But this is the Paris Meridian line that they're plotting out, which will be the distance from the North Pole to the equator. How do you mark the equator? There's not a line, is there, that you measure to? What do you use to mark the equator?
Minimum elevation angle to Polaris.
That, or you could also use the sun on solstice. So
we gotta go make sure that Palestine is flat. That's right. Take that, terrorist.
Wow, sad and weak. Hey. Either way, demonstrating that the way in which we're building the references from the heavens.
Perfect. Thank you, Adam. Yeah. So here we measure Earth flat. The derivations of these flat distances are from angle measurements to Polaris in this instance.
Satellite transport the blood directly from the public. After they're on the surface, have security for the observation power fluctuation in the deflector array. Calls.
Am I the only one hearing that?
Marking.
They're trying to realign the emitters.
Finn.
Cool. So now we're. Oh, never mind.
Nah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So now we covered that. Maybe get some baselines in order here. So I don't mind multiple people joining in and helping you out, right? But I do mind me not being able to have the same privileges,
dude,
right?
Stop
So
with your moderating and
Wait, I think this is a fair point.
Dude, you cry so much.
I don't cry. I'm just establishing baselines.
It's a boy who cried wolf. Now look that up. AT. Read about what happens when the boy cries wolf.
I'm gonna beat up the wolf, and I'm beating up all of you. So come at me. But I don't mind assistance as well.
With your flat Earth measurements, is that how you're beating us up with
I mean, you haven't demonstrated that they are a flat Earth measurement still. You've linked an article, but you haven't said which paragraph, and you haven't read out the line.
You have
So,
to use your brain, Nick. You have to think
no,
about
because
the
that
problem.
wasn't good enough when I did it. So wolves
Yeah,
come
the
at
word
me, but you're getting
spherical,
wrecked, all of
in
you.
your article.
Why is this all ad
The
hominem?
word
Like,
spherical in your
why is it a
article was your
discussion?
undoing, Nick. Because the word spherical appeared in your article, it contradicted your own claim.
How?
Yeah, you couldn't even bring yourself to. You couldn't even pronounce the word. It hurt
I love
so
this
bad.
many people coming in. We need more. Come on, take me on, boys. Spurg out and yell at me. You're gonna.
So what he's done?
Can I say something really quick?
What he's now done is invited audio chaos in the Discord server. So he's invited everybody to chirp in. Like, no. We have one at a time. One at a time. That's it. Now, when I'm asking you a direct question about acquiring an elevation angle from a curved baseline, somebody else jumped in and started answering the question on your behalf. Now, you're saying that's unreasonable because I've got Adam jumping in, answering questions on my behalf when I'm not asking him to.
Yes, precisely. That's exactly my criticism of you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I have to control quite a lot of people. That's right. Most of them aren't being invited to jump in at any given time. When they do, we still have to listen to it. And once it makes its way to air, like all the fundy muting and rumpusing that you just incited, yeah, that still happened, didn't it? Not a lot I can do about that. What am I going to do? Turn back time and turn off all of that chaos you just caused? No, I mean, sometimes the guests will invite white knighting to help them when they're being asked about elevation, angle, measurement, acquisition from a curved baseline. Sometimes they'll invite the white knights because it's only fair, because Adam helped me, didn't he? That's garbage. Why didn't you just answer the question?
Well, because it's not really a one-on-one anymore, is it, Nathan?
Right
Every
now.
time
You
you're
see,
in
I
a
can't control
chokehold
the
and I
guy
got
who's
you,
just
somebody
interrupted
comes
from my
in and
panel.
pulls
I
me
can't
off,
stop that.
right? I mean, you're getting wrecked. Oh, now you're over-talking again.
No,
Are
somebody
you a
from my
man, baby?
panel.
Can you not carry a conversation?
No, somebody from my panel has decided when I'm asking you a question that will be their time to interrupt. I can't do much about that. I'm not looking at that screen at that moment, so I don't know who it is. Just tell them off. That's what happened. We were surrounded by a lot of people. Doesn't change that there's an elevation angle measurement that can only come from a flat Earth for your claim that hasn't been substantiated for the sphericity connected to kilometres. That's your claim. You were making it. You didn't substantiate it. You've had rebuttals, and every time you have one, you say, well, this is your claim then. No, that's a rebuttal. The burden's still on you. So far, this has been a lot of non-proof of
So the
sphericity.
problem is, again, you're incorrect, and here's why, right? I brought a claim forward. I substantiated it with a Wikipedia article. I even cited where, and your rebuttal to that article was specifically that it's a flat Earth measurement and it's derived from flat Earth terminology and a world like that, right? I said, okay, that might be so. Can you please prove that? And you failed to do that miserably. Then you brought in more people and you asked, what can you do about it? Turn back time? I don't suspect that you can turn back in time, Nathan. Otherwise, you wouldn't be a grown-ass man sitting in your pajamas, right? So
Now my panel are doing it again, by the way. I didn't invite this. I didn't ask him to do this. Yeah? Didn't ask my panel to do that either, just so you know. Yeah? Meanwhile, you say it's unsubstantiated.
Shut up, Eli. Shut up myself. Sorry, Nathan. Go on.
Close out this live show. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. Well done, Eli. I'm not going to have a consistent conversation with this gentleman. You guys have decided otherwise. Okay?
Why has this been so chaotic?
Lots of
because we have an Elmer Fudd sophist moron globetard that likes to argue minutia. He doesn't even know what. Can he define what a mile is for us, please? Define.
Sorry, Kiwi. What's just happened is somebody asked you a direct question. You answered it, and then started to ask a new question after being invited to answer something. And the moment you started asking, the person that originally invited your answer started saying, "Whoa, whoa, whoa," so that your question couldn't be heard. Just so we're clear, what that gentleman in the Discord server just did is known as the fundamentalist religious zealot mute button. Oh, there's a question coming. This might leave us absolutely screwed as globe believers. Better chant through the top of this immediately. Let's try that. Let's try that with Quantum Eraser one more time. See how you get on, QE.
Hey, Nick, the dick. Define mile.
Oh shit, I'm unmuted again.
Wait,
Serious
why
tone.
is this all insults? Like, can it be civil?
Define mile.
Oh, now they started yelling. This is great.
Fine mile,
It's
Nancy.
a unit. Yeah, I was, but you cut me off.
What?
It's a unit of measurement.
No, it's a unit of linear measure from Oxford Languages, Oxford Dictionary. Define linear, Nick.
Wait, let's pull up the Oxford Dictionary first. Let's go from there. Give me 1 sec. Wait, who am I talking to, by the way? This isn't Nathan, is it? But I'm confused. Who am I conversing with?
Focus on pulling up your definition at Oxford like QE asked you to.
Yeah, I'm doing that simultaneously. Is it Oxford reference? I can't find it in the Oxford Dictionary. Maybe I'm spurring it out. Let me see. Mile Oxford Dictionary.
In the chat
linear-
at 1:30 a.m., 30 minutes past the hour.
OED. Wait. No, give me the link. Give me the link.
I've just.
You just compromised yourself, sir. With your Elmer Fudd sophistry, you don't know what a mile is. Thank you. Appreciate it.
It's not a unit of measurement.
Wow.
Is that incorrect? That's crazy.
Linear.
I mean, you can build on the definition, sure, but calling me wrong is incorrect.
Linear.
You're wrong.
You ain't building
You're yelling
crap.
us.
It's the definition of it, moron.
The link is in the. Yeah, link's posted. Direct link, as QE said, from Oxford Languages, a unit of linear measurement equal to 1,760 yards.
Define linear, Nick.
I still haven't gotten the link, so I'm not ready to move on. You gave me a Google
It's
link.
in the chat.
Oh,
at
it's
30
Googling.
minutes.
Little Nancy. Elmer
I don't know why
Fudd,
you're stressing.
sophist
This
of
doesn't have to
minutia.
move at a rapid pace. We
Elmer
can take
Fudd,
it chill, man.
sophist of minutia. A mile.
There
It's
is
a
no
linear
minutia. I'm
measure.
slowing it.
A
Okay, dude, keep
linear
yelling.
measure,
You getting wrecked,
Nick.
dude.
What
Can we
does
calm
linear
down?
mean, Nick? Now
I
we're
think
back in second grade,
you gotta
Nick.
blow off some steam first. Let it go.
What's linear, Nick? You're already compromised. Say goodnight. Prosecution rests.
Well, I would say linear without looking up a definition would just be a consistent line with no curvature or diversion in angle.
Welcome to Flat Earth,
I'm
Nick.
sure there's.
Welcome to Flat Earth. So miles are flat then.
Wait.
So welcome
Linear.
to Flat Earth. Excuse me, I'll
That's
just
like saying
I'll just take my victory dance. I mean, I could be accused
Wait,
of
there's no
lazy.
victory
I could
dance.
be having the fundamentalist religious zealot mute button on used on me right now.
I mean, you can have the mental
I
institution
could just
dance for
declare
you.
my
I mean,
victory.
I'm sure you
So without curvature means they're flat.
can call it a victory.
I mean,
but it's a big
you
L
could
to
chant through my victory. It's almost like you win if you keep talking. Eventually, you'll have to be muted by a server operator. Because if it doesn't have curvature, it's flat. Like I said originally. Like I proved when you said miles and I said that's flat. It's a flat, straight distance. Like without curvature. Like linear. Yeah, now we're at the definition of mile. Yeah, someone else had to get there. I didn't give a toss. I already knew it was flat and level and wouldn't ever be curving and you'd never cite anything to back your claim that somehow distance measurement has something to do with sphericity. That being your claim will never be substantiated with sphericity. We'll twist it and mute people and claim that we can take our time failing to substantiate a sphere that has kilometers somehow associated with it. It doesn't. It's a straight, flat distance like all of them. But that just means your claim hasn't been substantiated. It fails. We're not backing sphericity. Earth's measured flat, like with miles. The very mention of miles proves Earth's flat. It's not curving. So, in conclusion, Earth measured flat at the very outset of this fundamentalist zealot religious believer and his assertion that he's going to prove his claim of sphericity with a non sequitur of infinite versus finite in false dichotomy and distance measurement, which is flat. So before we've done anything, we need flat Earth distance measurement and him interrupting that very painful conclusion. What was it? My inability to communicate that led you to interrupt that conclusion? That Earth is measured flat?
Yes.
Perhaps it was painful to hear that conclusion. That is the conclusion with our linear miles that aren't curving. that definitely are flat as originally asserted. No, ladies and gentlemen, I'll just close the line to Discord as this zealot uses his mute button on me, in the vain hope that this will give him the win, when his non-curving miles will be used at the outset of his globe assertion. We'll just need a little bit of flat Earth to move this globe claim forward, even though this little bit of flat Earth is supposed to be the assertion that kilometres have something to do with sphericity. They don't. None of it does. Miles, kilometres, cubits, I don't care what you use, it's all flat. That's why the maps are all flat, by the way, because they all tally with the angle measurements to the stars that are used and plotted when we navigate the surface that's flat, so that they match with any measurements that we'll do. That'll be angles off a flat surface. That's why they have to be all flat. Yeah, there's me actually making a positive claim, by the way.
Idle.
Oh, that definitely needed a chanting fundy zealot to chant through it now, didn't it? That's why all the maps are flat. I mean, that last statement wasn't heard, and my repetition of it's going to go in vain. That's why all the maps are flat, so they work with angle measurements to the stars.
So this is my closing statement, dude. Right? I guess.
I just made my closing statement that's been completely ignored, and you think you get to take a victory dance? Miles, they're flat. We're measuring a flat Earth for you to move your non-sphere proving claim forward. You think this is your opportunity, after completely ignoring me, to what, hand wave it and get on with your conclusion? No, Dumbo. You didn't win. You spent about half an hour arguing about distance measurement, thinking it was sphere-based.
Again, like my closing statement would be this.
You don't get one.
You have a belt.
Sorry, you didn't win. Why do you think you get to make a closing statement, you complete numpty?
Yeah. Scoreboard, bro.
Maybe he's just giving his own eulogy, John.
This is some millennial bullshit where everybody gets a trophy. And because everybody gets a trophy, I still get to stand on the podium and make a victory dance. No, mate, coming second is losing. You lost. There's no victory dance for you, Dumbo. You don't get a closing statement. Your miles are flat. Your kilometres are flat. Earth's measured flat. So far, you've offered up a false dichotomy of infinite versus finite. That was point A. Then you said that there was a follow-on to that justified why Earth was a sphere. That was your addition to that. That failed too, point B. Then point C is distance measurement. First opener, flat in all regards. That's the end conclusion of this discussion. You think you need to undermine that after the fact, or maybe chant through it so nobody in the Discord server can hear it. Yeah, my live audience gets to hear the actual conclusion by the winner, me. Earth measured flat, miles
Nathan,
straight and
you're
flat.
Also a millennial.
Yeah, you're definitely going to chant through it. Everybody gets a trophy.
Ooh, yeah.
Shut this dickhead up.
Nathan,
Shut this
let's
dickhead
go.
up.
Yeah.
Shut this dickhead up. Yeah, you lost,
fucking
dickhead.
lose.
Yeah, you lost, dickhead. Yeah, the conclusion's coming from the winner. You now having a little paddy because you didn't get a trophy isn't going to fly. Get lost. You lost. Badly. Took us on a little dance for quite a while, but it didn't change the flat Earth measurements you need.
Closing statement, you're a retard.
You have no measurements, you lying piece of shit.
That'll be my
Mr.
obnoxious stalker that sends me abusive communications via Facebook. Let's ban that sock account that likes to send abusive messages to me as stalker. Shout out to Roger Ledwell, Adam Meakin, ladies and gentlemen. He says, it doesn't get dumber for sure. Thank you very much, Roger Ledwell.
By the way, with the false dichotomy, you don't need to offer a third choice to debunk a false dichotomy. Who are you, Witsit?
Yes.
All you need to show one of the dichotomies is non sequitur. That's all you need to do. Dumbass.
Did you see me laugh? I hope that was off mute when I laughed hysterically when he said, "What, have you got a third choice?"
Yeah.
Oh, I'm unmuted again. Great. I will make my final statement. Now we'll respond. Right?
Your final statement is you're a retard.
Yeah, we had the last.
Wait, so Nathan, how can you prove the Earth is not a plane?
We can move on. Yes, to you. Do you want to get rid of the other guy that thinks he gets to make a victory dance, and we'll move on to next man? Who is this next man?
Okay, Hardy. My name's Hardy.
Hello, Hardy. Good to meet you.
Hello. So before we get on to this topic of whether or not the Earth is flat or not, or if it's a globe, I would just have to ask, can we make a mutual agreement of civility and not giving ad hominem?
Oh my God! Sure, dumbass.
I'm
Hi, baby club.
Yes, I'll try and keep control of my panel as much as I best possibly can. But yes, fine.
Just to make, does he want to give us his pronouns as well first, just in case we get any more sensibility offended?
Yes, my pronoun is Fedor, and my other pronouns are Ra. Fedor/R.
Yeah, so that says about all I need to know.
Okay. As I was going to say, so when it comes to what?
No, we've already established that you're a reality denier, so that's it, really.
Okay. Well, I just want to talk to you because I'm more on the.
No, we don't want to talk to you. You're not in the same world, are you?
Yeah, you're in a different
world.
world.
What do you mean?
Pronouns, dude.
You need a different forum. You need a wokey forum where you can change the definitions of meanings of things. Excuse me, we're responding to you.
It was a joke. It was a joke.
You could just keep talking. Maybe you could keep talking indefinitely through the justification for removing you immediately. You could just keep talking through that. No, what we've established immediately is that you feel in this discussion, by what you answered Adam with, that you'll be able to change the meanings of words. We won't be accepting that here. Ergo, you immediately, and you're going to keep chanting through me, of course. It's the Fundy mute button time as he gets excluded based on his unreasonable nature. Unreasonable in the fact that you don't like the definitions of words and will arbitrarily change them at a whim. Now, we can't deal with people like that. We need definitions of the words to mean things, like their definitions. The moment you can't accept that, you're thinking it's humorous, that excludes you from this discussion. People who accept reality won't talk to people like you. You exclude yourself from these discussions. I hope you understand before I get to the end of my conclusion when the next man decides he's going to chant through this. That's why you are being removed. You don't have to like it. That's the consequences, though. Yeah?
Okay,
Hear me, woke world. That's what happens. That's what happens. That's what happens when you unreasonably redefine words and their meanings on the fly. People don't want to talk to you anymore, and you exclude yourself from discussions about the meanings of words and reality. Suddenly you're not part of that discussion anymore. You've excluded yourself. What do you know?
So can I jump in real quick?
You can.
Okay, sweet. So you were talking about the importance of the meaning of words. Sorry, I wasn't here for like the early part of your discussion. I just kind of jumped into that part. And I wanted to ask you, what do you think about the relation between the semantics and the meaning and the intuitive side of it? So like how one receives the meaning of a word, how they, operate effectively with it. How do you see this fitting in?
They're both the same thing. Semantics is words and their meaning.
So, the guy who butted in and was heard is confused about how words work.
Well, I just wanted to ask, would you classify word like intuition as also words and their meaning?
Do you know who you are?
I'm human.
No, where?
Unless I'm an alien.
Where you are. Do you know what this forum is?
Flat Earth.
Okay. Did you think it was an English forum?
I assumed so. Like, I assume most of the people here are English speakers.
No, it's not an English forum. We debate the nature of reality based on how Earth is measured. So because it's measured flat and there's an extrapolation of those measurements that turn into sphericity, a lot of people have reified that extrapolation of flat Earth measurements into believing the world actually has a curved surface to it. It doesn't, but that's what we debate here.
Interesting. I guess that would lend itself to kind of like, in my view, that would lend itself to breaking out of the semantics and really saying like, okay, this goes beyond semantics. Whether you are able to understand the language we're using or not, there's a general intuition to be found here, right?
No, those two things are the same also. So it goes beyond words and their meaning and instead goes into language, like words and their meaning. That's semantics. You keep saying, like, there's a juxtaposition between words, meanings, language. These are all the same thing. Yes, they're very important, fundamental, critical, that we understand when we communicate with one another the information that we are communicating, that we understand and appreciate that words do have meanings and that we agree upon those meanings. That's called the Socratic method. Have you ever heard of that?
I have heard of the Socratic method. The reason I brought up the distinction is I think when we're overemphasizing the semantics as opposed to the learning process, we may be kind of inclined to get into argument, to just speak past each other. But when we're speaking at the level of intuition, then that's less likely. So I guess like
I see.
Maybe like
no, we don't deal with that here. We don't deal with people's intuition.
Oh.
We don't care. Sorry, stop. Can I just respond to him? No, we don't deal with people's intuition. We can deal with things like scientific validity, that's empirical evidence, measurements, physical in nature. We can deal with things like that. People's feelings, intuition, we couldn't give a toss.
That's all you do is feelings, Nathan Oakley.
Sorry, could you remove my stalker that's sending abusive messages and continually joining the chat so he can continue to abuse me? Could you remove him, please? Thank you.
When it comes to globetards or round earthers, generally, as opposed to having an intuitive understanding of what they're talking about, they would rather work off of conventional truths. So without doing the science themselves, they would say, like, the Earth is obviously round. That's intuitive. Everyone should know that. But they're relying on an intermediary science to do the learning for them. And I think this would be a good angle to approach this investigation or this conversation with.
Yeah, other than you saying science when you actually mean pseudoscience, like the hijacking of the empirical method. But yeah, I completely agree. Shout out to Roger Ledwell.
Well, no, I really do mean exactly that, though. It's like they're hijacking the empirical method so that they don't have to investigate things.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah, much better paraphrasing. Yes, indeed.
Well, I think we're on the same page then, in a lot of ways. Like, you know, I was bringing up that distinction between semantics and intuition, and that's generally what I meant, was like they're using semantics as a way to avoid investigation and calling it science, but obviously that's not how science works.
Yeah, I kind of see what you're saying. Right, we're coming up on the 3 hours mark. I didn't intend this all to be live, but it has ended up being that way, as sometimes is the case.
That's a train wreck, by the way. Words have precise meanings in science. Anne-Marie Helmstein, PhD, Biomedical Sciences. From the natural, synthetic, and artificial, DNA, PNA, and XNA. As in all scientific communication, precise language is essential for giving and receiving messages correctly. And by the way, your little appeal to round, yeah, the round and flat aren't mutually exclusive there. So everything you said was wrong. And this intuition nonsense, can you define intuition for everyone?
He might be able to do that when he joins in either our own server or whichever server the after show goes in, because at this point I am going to say, if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately though, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So another massive thank you to all of you who smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, joined as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and all that good stuff. Hopefully a link will be going by in the live stream chat towards the end of the show to join the Politics 24/7 Flat Earth Discord server, which is fabulous and has been the host of today's 3-hour almost live stream. So a big shout out to the Flat Earth Politics server. I've been Nathan Oakley. Stay tuned if you're watching on an after show, and I will see you all in the next video. Shout out to Roger Ledwell, who super chatted towards the end of the show. He says, no, that would be word salad from next door. Thank you for the super chat. Stay tuned if you're watching on After Show.